All right, everyone. Thank you guys for coming back out to the Ukatsu High School Esports League, brought to you guys by Columbia College, Armstrong, Teasdale, Veterans United, and Hawthorne Bank. Those are our sponsors, and we're back after spring break. We took 1 week off, and we're very excited to jump back into this regular season between the Columbia Public Schools, Jefferson City Public Schools, and excited to see some more League of Legends. For the most part, last week taking a break off, it felt kind of odd. I'm getting so used to seeing these players every single week. And we know that even though we took a break off, the players did not. We know a lot of them continue their practicing. They still grouped up and they still play together at night. And we're going to see if that can pay off and we see some, I guess, what am I trying to say here?
More developed, higher level play. Yeah, they've had a lot of time off now. We did the first round robin. Now this is our first repeat match, actually. Battle versus Rockbridge.
That is correct. And so, of course, we're doing the B team games first. Both teams are actually tied coming into week 4 at 2-1. Battle with the massive upset against Hickman's B squad. They were hoping to close out the B team rosters with a 3-0, but Battle played spoiler there and took a game off at the last couple of seconds. It was a very, very exciting game. On the flip side as well, though, Rockbridge coming off a win against Jefferson City in week 3. So both teams coming in hot. We're going to see which one of them can translate that momentum into another victory tonight to start off the second round robin. All right, so players, if you guys are ready, coaches, if you guys are ready, we're going to jump into picks and bans to start off week 4. Okay, so starting off again, the bans. So the point of this phase, once again, is to ban away the champions that these teams do not want to play against. Again, that entire week that they had off, think of that as a universal bye week for all teams. That's their chance to strategize and figure out what worked, what didn't work the last time these teams played. So again, that's probably the most exciting part now, is that we're finally going to see some counterplay, some depth into their strategy because they've had experience playing these guys once before.
Yeah, and the first 2 bans coming out, Garen and Cassio. I don't believe we've seen any Cassio from the B teams at all this play. We've seen it a few times in the A games, but maybe that means that teams have been practicing a little bit, widening their champion pools. Maybe a little bit of scouting has been done.
The Garen pick on the other side, taken away from Abdul, you know who it is, 77. He got pretty massive in the B team game last week. So that ban makes a lot of sense. Same with the Tristana, another powerful 80 carry marksman pick. I think that's actually a very comfortable pick for Icy Mr. Lamb. I see him personally playing that a lot in practice. So that might be some good research done by the coaches or the players, as well as taking away the Zach, another powerful pick that Cameron Ruling Ocean, again, performed really, really well on last week against Hickman. I think those are 2 very solid bans, just targeted specifically at the last time they watched them play.
Yeah, and Zach's one of those tanks that hasn't really gotten touched with all the nerfs going through, so he's definitely strong if you want to go that route. Looks like the first pickup here is Nami, prioritizing that bot lane. Just like Nami allows you to be aggressive, definitely early, out-trade your opponents, so probably looking to gain an advantage there in the bot lane with the first pickup on that. Nasus on the side of Battle.
I like that pickup coming up from who it is, Abdul. Last game he took a lot of pressure in the top lane. He kind of sat there for a long time, getting really, really strong. He did very well into his lane, and I'm kind of expecting to see that again, to see if he can absorb that pressure, get really strong, and then all of a sudden pop onto the map and just be a powerhouse, demanding pressure. Taken out for the other secondary pick is for Battle side is going to be the Shyvana, the dragon. It's a giant dragon lady. For the most part, she's a pretty heavy engage kind of jungler, almost a very similar role that the Zach played previously. So I'm expecting to see a lot more of Cameron kind of jumping forward just like he did 2 weeks ago, I guess, versus Hickman. Very similar niches, and we're seeing another Ari pick coming out for Circline. We've seen him play this 3 times now, and still not taken away. And I guess as they're coming off a 2-game win streak, so that should say something, I guess, about the picks they've selected here.
I consider Malzahar a pretty good pick into Ari. You can just lock her down and take her out with your team's help. You have that spell shield to protect you from getting charmed, maybe if you want to roam. So it should be a pretty good matchup for mid. And then the Jinx pickup we haven't talked about yet. Super late game carry. Basically 1v5ing at that point. She has Nami for a little bit of protection, but usually as the game goes late, Nami takes a lot more coordination compared to like Janna or Lulu, so it'll be interesting to see how well they're able to peel for the Jinx. But if they can, that's definitely the start of a scary team fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the synergy that we talked about between the bot laners being Rilo, Dasso, Riley, and Dawson, they demonstrated that very, very well last time we watched them play with the Xayah Rakan pickup. It's the lovers duo. It's a duo in the bot lane that are meant to be played together. And we saw them demonstrate some crazy synergy and plays going on. They definitely carried a lot of those team fights 2 weeks ago. So coming into this week, they're playing more of a late game carry sort of style, and I do think the Nami and the Jinx can synergize pretty well in lane when you take into account Jinx is a rocket-wielding marksman, so she has a little bit more range, and Nami can help buff those auto attacks, which will kind of help them out in lane. So to round out the rest of Rockbridge's comp for the B team side, we see a Jax probably in the jungle, and of course Frozen Maelstrom Lee's Darius. He's picked this up 3 times now, and he had that one highlight in week 1. We're excited to see. I'm very excited to see it again.
Yeah, and on battle side, they pick up Sivir and Soraka for the bot lane. So that's basically just an AFK push lane. They're just gonna ignore the opponent and try and maybe deny some farm, maybe get some roams off, maybe some early dragons. I know Shyvana can kind of prioritize that a little more than other champions due to the stats she gets from dragons. So looking at both the comps, I just think that Rockbridge might have a little bit more high tier picks. I definitely think they got a counter in the top lane that should be rough for Nasus. Shyvana Jax can go probably either way. They both scale decently well in the late game, but Jax is a little more utility than Shyvana. So if she falls behind, it might be a little rough.
Yeah, so when we talk again about utility, for those of you guys in the audience, we're talking about crowd control, CC, abilities that lock people down, abilities that keep them stunned, rooted, slowed, things like that. And when we're looking at it, like you said before, Rockbridge does have a fair amount of that, especially on the top side of the map, being the Darius, a very bruiser kind of character, a fighter, very good at dealing with these tanks, and then the Jax and the Malzahar, who both have huge lockdown kind of abilities, being either the silence or the stuns that they have, the suppressions. But for the most part, I think both teams scale relatively well, especially on the side of course, Rockbridge here coming out with the Jinx pick. Very, very strong scaling hyper carry for Rockbridge's side. You get to the late game, she's going to be pretty terrifying. Well, the same thing though on for Battle B side. Scaling Nasus is also not too bad. Same thing with the Sivir. The marksmen themselves are going to deal a lot of damage throughout this game. Those being played by Jinx, Riley, Rilo, and of course Kobe, Icy Mr. Lamb on the Sivir pick. Boomerang wielding kind of marksman.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching the Shyvana a lot in these fights. If Shyvana's able to get on Jinx, she's a very fast champion with her W and her jump. So, with Nami, it's very skill shot oriented. So, if the bubble misses, if Malzahar or Jax aren't there to peel that Shyvana off, that could be disaster for this comp. But they have damage in the top lane too, so it's really going to come down to the team fights. I think Rockbridge has a great team fight comp all around. And that Sivir will have, like you said, less range than Jinx, so it might be hard getting access to those fights later in the game. But, Sivir, if she's allowed to free shot, does... Actually, they both do a lot of damage AoE, so the team fights will be very explosive. I think while both teams here are equipped to split push, I still highly expect some of these teams, just from their playstyles previously, to probably play a more team fighty oriented comp. I think that the team synergizes pretty well when you take into account the Sivir being up to ultimate. She has her ultimate, which is her level 6 ability. It allows to speed up all of her teammates, allowing them to engage very, very quickly, which really helps out a champion like Shyvana, like the Nasus, who don't really have gap closers, except for the jump from the Shyvana. They're able to at least get on some of those carries like the Jinx, like the Malzahar in the backline. So I'm hoping to see a lot of action later on through this fight. And normally we say right at the beginning of this 3-minute delay, that's, again, for if you guys are not Riot Studios, there is a 3-minute delay before you're able to jump into the game. The players themselves have already been playing, but we've been talking this entire time, and we're only 40 seconds away before we jump into the first game of Week 4. Now, Ben, your prediction, Rockbridge B, Battle B, both teams are currently sitting at 2-1. Who's going to walk away with the 3-1 start to the season? I'm going to go ahead and predict Rockbridge for this one. I think the winning matchup top, the pretty safe matchup in the mid with the late game Jinx is going to work out really well for them.
I have to agree. And I say Rockbridge B is the team that's probably the most experience playing together. A lot of the times the B teams have a little bit more of the shifting kind of change-ups in their lineups. And Rockbridge is the one roster that has stayed consistent the entirety of the season so far. So they have a lot of experience playing together. Ever since they've gotten their coach as well, they've had scheduled practice times, and they're very, very dedicated to those. So I think if they coordinate very, very well, and it's really about Riley again staying alive later in the game, they probably will run away with this if played correctly.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It looks like we're loading in right now.
Yeah. So again, though, thank you guys for coming out tonight. I want to hear, guys, for Rockbridge. How many of you guys are in the crowd and the audience right now? How many of you guys cheer on your team for Rockbridge? I want to hear from you guys. And, of course, Battle in the audience. Thank you guys for coming out again. You are the visiting team tonight. So, you know, right now, our predictions are out there, but we got to still hope and hang on for Battle. Let's hear for Battle, guys. Yeah. All right, so just a little bit, we're going to jump into the first game of Week 4. Again, thank you to our sponsors, being Columbia College, Armstrong, Teasdale, Veterans United, and, of course, Hawthorne Bank. We appreciate you guys very much making this possible. And we're about to jump into game here. So, without any further commentary, we're going to get into the game. Alrighty. So, starting off actually, pretty much the same part. It's pretty traditional starts. We don't really see too many advanced starts in the game from these players. Actually, I haven't seen anything too cheeky yet. Sometimes in the beginning of the game, there's these things called invades, where the teams will kind of go into the enemy jungle and try to flank some people. Again, from their perspective, they can't see the other half of the map. None of the players can actually see what the other team is doing. And sometimes you see these things called invades, and they'll go out and try to find a kill here or there early on in the game. As the minions that we talked about in the video previously, they don't spawn until the minute
30 is when
minute 30 mark.
Yeah.
There we see 3 members of Battle positioning in the bot side river, kind of flexing their muscles there. JT plays 3. Jordan sitting out there being a little cheeky, letting him know that he sees them. But I doubt we're going to see any action else otherwise. For the most part, though, good positioning though from the Rockbridge side, positioning linearly across the river, across the map.
Yeah, just a standard defensive setup there from Rockbridge. Both junglers starting bot side, so maybe around level 3 we'll expect some 2v2 in the top lane. Shyvana probably just going to power farm, but if Nasus pushes up, it could be a little bit dangerous for him coming in a few minutes here.
Yeah, so let's try to highlight here real quick while we're still waiting for the minions to spawn who is being played, or who is who exactly. So on top side of the map, this is Lee Frozen Maelstrom, the team captain for the B side, Rockbridge. Again, playing a signature Darius pick. He's playing the Dunk Master there. He's got a big hoop, and he's a bruiser kind of character. For the jungle side, we have Jordan playing the staff-wielding guy. His name is Jax, and there we go, Jordan. JT plays, playing jungle. He's still very new to the position, but he's performed very, very well this season. Mini Tristan, who actually started out as a support for the B team squad, playing Malzahar. Also a very comfortable pick for him here. He's the kind of mage, almost like Arabic kind of dressed man in the middle floating around. And of course the bot lane routing out Rilo, Dasso, Riley, and Dawson in the bot lane with the machine gun, rocket toting girl. And of course the sushi looking lady, or mermaid looking lady. I have sushi on my mind.
Fish, mermaids. Yeah, that's all kind of the same.
Otherwise though, the Anubis, again, kind of the Egyptian looking guy with the cane, and the top side is, you know who it is, Abdul El Walid, coming in with the Nasus pick. Very excited to watch that throughout this game. Dragon Lady, of course, being Ruling Ocean. Cameron, not his traditional position, but we're going to see if he can perform just as well as he did last time 2 weeks ago on the Shyvana pickup. Sir Klein in the mid lane, the Cat Lady. We've seen this multiple times. We traditionally don't see that many Ahri picks. I see Mr. Lamb. Kobe, he's real low.
Yeah, maybe took a bad trade there, but that's what Soraka's for, right? Just heal you right back up.
Yep. Soraka has this ability that allows her to heal teammates in lane. Ooh! Rilo landing the zap. Huge damage onto the Shyvana Poly. And talking about what Soraka really does as a champion, as a support. Ooh! First blood.
There you go. That's Darius for you. Hits level 3.
Frozen Maelstrom.
Gets the 5 stacks of the passive there. Not really much Nasus can do in that situation. Probably just had to respect it a little bit more earlier on, but good first blood there. Yeah, traditionally you expect a champion like Darius to do well into tanks, just by the way his play style is, and him getting that first blood so early on is going to spell a lot of trouble for you know who it is in the top lane. Pretty good pickup by Lee. So we're seeing a little bit of a roam going on potentially in the top side of the map. Jordan attacking the Scuttle Crab, one of the neutral monsters in the river. If he kills the Scuttle Crab, it grants vision, so we'll be able to see if any of Battle's team crosses through that point.
And go back to what we were saying earlier, because this is very important when it comes to supports. Soraka pick played by Polly, Charbel. It's more of your traditional kind of support. When you think of support, you think of like a healer. That is what Soraka does. He's able to heal his AD carry, so she's able to take more aggressive trades and she just heal back up. But instead of using mana, which most champions use to cast their spells, they actually use her health. Soraka actually sacrifices some of her health to use her heals.
Yeah. So she's trading a little bit of her life to save her allies. Nice little concept for that champion.
Otherwise, though,
it looks like it's stabilized. Maybe down a little bit of CS due to the early trade, but nothing too terrible.
Yeah, so this is where it starts getting real difficult now in the top lane. Frozen Maelstrom taking the first blood. He's a little bit stronger now than the Nasus, who's already lost the first fight of the game. He's just being zoned out from his minions, preventing him from getting any more gold.
Yeah, it looks like Malzahar are going to get closed in on here, just missing the charm from the Ahri, though, and he'll get out. He probably wanted to base anyways. He's got a nice little CS lead, and he's out of mana anyway, so probably pick up his tier. Not going to be too bad. Going for the Lost Chapter. Wow, he had enough for it. It was really good for him. And teleporting right back in. Not giving up any pressure, really. Another fight breaking out in the bot lane. Sivir getting hit by the bubble, but Shyvana's here in time. Let's make it turned around on Nami. The flash, the auto follows and gets the kill. Now it's a 3v1, and Jinx is out of position. Does have flash and heal. Should be okay. I don't think they're going to make the tower dive, but he's holding on to his summoners.
Oh, the banana almost picks up the kill.
Yeah, really well played. Very calm to, not instantly flash or, I don't know, just hold your summoner spells like that. That shows a lot of self-control.
So good, even though the Shyvana wasn't really needed, they didn't get the assist. Cameron coming down allowed, gave the confidence down to the battle bot side. They do pick up a kill in return. It's currently 1-1 in terms of kills in this game, although the gold lead is slightly in favor of Rockbridge. Most of that is attributed to the CS lead. You can see in the mid lane, see the numbers on the side next to their names here, the 44, the 31. We talk about when you last hit these minions, it grants gold, and that turns into CS, their creep score, essentially. And 15 creeps equal 1 kill, so it's very important to stay on top of those minion kills, to keep gold, to keep items, and stay just as strong as your opponents.
Yeah, definitely. And now that Darius has recalled after getting that kill and a little bit of a CS lead, now it's going to be even harder for the Nasus to really stay in this lane, honestly. With the Phage and boots, Darius is going to be able to chase him down. Without Wither, it's going to be a rough time for Nasus.
It's like you predicted. Rockbridge with the favorable matchups in the lane. We see Tristan Mini in the mid lane pulling ahead in CS. He's currently almost 20 up over his lane opponent, Sir Klein. That's a fair amount of gold that he's up ahead, and that's just kind of the matchup as well. He's able to push in a lot quicker, denying Sir Klein of minions and gold. Same thing.
And at this point, it looks like he almost got a freeze there, but if he was able to keep that wave at the tower, that would have been game over for that top lane.
The bot side map is
Jinx
very
going
similar.
for an early Executioner's Calling, so that's going to cut the healing significantly from the Soraka, so maybe just a really aggressive strategy there, honestly.
And normally, for the most part, personally, it's not something that I personally think is worth the gold that early on in the game, especially on a champion like Jinx who wants those hyper-scaling items. You're probably not going to get that Last Whisper item until much later anyway, but the kind of playstyle that they're playing down here where they're poking, they're outranging their opponents and dealing more damage, it makes sense. So to try to keep them at a lower health, potentially maybe for a gank later on, it's still kind of a different decision. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad decision.
Yeah, and I know how annoying Soraka is to play against personally, so maybe it's just kind of like a
preference kind of thing.
Yeah. Just prefer not to play against it.
Yeah. So what we were talking about is this item that Rilo just picked up. It's not an item that Jinxes, or at least marksmen, usually pick up very early on traditionally, but it's an item that cuts the healing of potential characters. And so as we said before, Soraka heals her characters, her teammates, that's just what she does. That's her role as a character, as a hero, and as a champion. I'm mixing up all my games here.
Yeah.
But and that item actually cuts the % of healing that Soraka can do, so severely limiting her ability to contribute in lane and in teamfights.
Again, it looks like Jax is going to get caught between the jungle here and the bot lane, but going to respond in time. It looks like Nami might get chased down here. I don't know if he has enough speed to catch up to him. Nami is relatively fast champ, but the bubble lands might get turned around on them now. Jinx chasing does have that buff, will slow Shyvana, but will not be able to finish the kill. Very close. Unfortunately, the jungle and bot lane of Rockbridge weren't 6 there, and that could have been a completely different fight if they were.
But for the most part, again, though, pretty even. No one lost anything there. We didn't see any kills going down.
Yeah, but because of the fight was won by battle there, they're probably going to get this dragon just because Jax is too low to contest this.
Yep, the dragons, the drakes being one of the neutral, larger monsters on the map, Summoner's Rift. The drake specifically grants a bonus to all of the team when killed. The Earth Drake specifically. Ooh, huge engage coming up with the Malzahar.
Yeah, Malzahar able to just roam there a little bit earlier and lock them down. Really nice setup. The fail flash too to get out of the pit. They do get the dragon, but that's 3 dead.
Yeah, so that was huge. So it looks like that Rockbridge able to secure vision in the pit. Initially, they couldn't see what was going on in there, and after they put their wards in there, they're able to see exactly what Battle is doing. See on the instant replay here, Battle is currently trying to rush down the dragon very quickly to secure it. The vision comes in from Rockbridge, and multiple members of Rockbridge then converge on the point. We see Shyvana trying to pull out of the pit, trying to pull the dragon. The Malzahar comes around. Also Soraka preventing her from healing the rest of her teammates. And then it looks like multiple members of Rockbridge then convene on the point from every direction. And
yeah,
kind of
just a little bit of maybe miscommunication there. 2 of them stayed in the pit. Shyvana tried to back out, so... That looked really well coordinated by Rockbridge.
And again, though, instant replay brought to you guys by Veterans United. Thank you, Veterans United Home Loans. We wouldn't be able to watch those instant replays without you.
Ness is doing surprisingly well in this top lane, actually, with just the boots. He is out of mana, though, so not going to be stacking as much as he'd maybe like, but it looks like he's getting ganked here by the Shyvana. Has red buff and ult, be able to slow him enough. I don't know if he has enough mana to fight this. The Chilling Smite comes down, does get the heal from the Q. Yeah, and they're just going to have to let him go. Ooh. Teleport just to back him up, just in case. Maybe they thought they were going to get dove there. I don't, if Nasus maybe had enough mana for Wither, we talked about that, him being out of mana, unable to slow the Darius down enough. But that's kind of a waste of the teleport then from Malzahar. He's just going to have to recall, and that gives Ahri here in the mid lane a little bit of pressure that she can try and put up.
Yeah, probably, like you said, a little bit of a miscommunication there. But otherwise, though, a pretty clean play coming out from Rockbridge so far. They're in the lead currently, 4-2 kills, up by about 2,000 gold. That Dragon Pit skirmish that broke out definitely helped them, although Battle did secure the dragon. The Earth Drake being a buff that allows them to deal more damage to structures and other neutral monsters throughout the game.
Yeah, and since Jax was just spotted in the mid lane, Shyvana's going to go ahead and just solo out the Rift Peril. Really good objective control here. Dropping that pink ward, making sure the enemy has no vision. They have no clue that this is going on, or if they do, they can't see it. Here's a Rockbridge's point of view if you check out the mini-map.
They cannot see what is going on at all, and that's what's very important about this game and kind of where the strategy and the planning goes in. They're called the wards, or what grant vision and grant information to teams and allow them to make decisions. So excellent job coming out by Cameron, Ruling Ocean, to understand that Rockbridge didn't have pressure on this side of the map, they didn't have vision, and he could take that objective for free.
Yeah, getting a little greedy though. He ran in to try and steal the blue away, but Mini on the Malzahar was there. Oh, and it looks like he's going to base check the bush and find a dragon and Ahri in it and just get run down. Ahri does have that ultimate, which helps her dash 3 times and definitely keep up with anyone.
That was a clean pickup by Rockbridge. Even having the mid lane roaming up, it wasn't look like Tristan Mini was able to secure anything in the mid lane there. So that was pretty free for Battle.
Yeah, without the wave clear of Malzahar is what he's known for, this tower is going to get heralded on.
Yeah, the herald being the objective that Cameron Ruling Ocean just picked up, Giant Crab Monster. He can spawn it in the middle of a lane, and it helps them push, dealing massive damage to towers, which are very important. This is going to be the first tower of the game going over to Battle.
Yeah, and you can see Rockbridge's bot lane tried to rotate up to clear the wave, but they couldn't make it in time, decided against it, and now this Herald's going to keep going.
Yeah,
now,
Battle being a little bit indecisive.
It looks like Jax is showing up now that he has a little bit of support, but the tower is getting really low, and he's going to go a little too far ahead. Does get the stun off, though, and doesn't die, but takes a big chunk of his health for
Looks like 75% health on that turret is now down for free. Good response by Battle. Even though they're behind in kills, they've now caught up in gold. They were down by 2K, down by a little bit under 700 gold now, picking up the first tower of the game, which also grants bonus gold to all of their team. And, of course, the objectives. In this game, you get as many kills as you want, but if you aren't securing objectives, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, and the first tower is huge. It gives you a little bit of bonus gold as well. So it's really important that you knock the first tower down. And honestly, Battle are stabilizing pretty well here. They're getting a lot of the neutral objectives. Even though they lost some of the fights, they're finding some picks here and there. The top lane is holding pretty well. You know, this should be a really hard matchup, especially with the first blood, but he's been able to stabilize it really well.
And that's always something that's really impresses me about players when they understand exactly what their situation is. Obviously, he's not going to win this fight. He realized that losing the level 1, level 2 trade. He died, but he's not giving away more kills. And that's really kind of the trait that, I think, what's a good player. Ooh,
yeah, and Malzahar just getting jumped on mid too close to that bush, and he doesn't have any vision on the top side too, so maybe hugging the wrong side of the jungle there, he'll get taken down. Yeah,
poor Tristan in the mid lane being ganked multiple times, taken down by Cameron. Cameron must have a grudge against him. But yeah, as we were saying before, it really is a mark of a good player, showing that they can understand their situation and just kind of stop the lane, not give away more kills, give away more gold.
Yeah, and Jack's not going to defend the tower. Goes in once it's already down, and we'll get charmed by the Ahri. Mid lane, both towers are already gone. This is huge for an assassin like Ahri, who wants to roam the map more often. And he has the space. They're just going to go for the inhib. They know that Malzahar just spawned, and no one else is coming to defend this. This is going to be a super early 15-minute inhibitor tower if they're able to get this.
And a champion like Shyvana being melee and these abilities to cancel the auto attacks, dealing huge damage to the tower. He's going to go for it.
Yeah, they're not even concerned about their lives at this point. They're just trying to get it, and they get out with that. 3 towers in the mid lane. Now, the charm missing. They maybe thought that they could turn that around, flashing to try and get away as well. And now Ahri getting collapsed on by Darius, too. The entire Rockbridge team collapsing on this, but only able to get 1 kill. I don't know if that was worth it for them.
It was a little bit later than I would have wanted them to respond to something like that. Your inhibitor towers are so important. They do pick up 1 kill in return, but you know what cost? On the flip side, though, we didn't see members of Battle really responding as well. All the bot laners on Rockbridge's side disappeared, and we're seeing now a little bit late, Battle's bot lane now pushing the lane, trying to secure another tower in the center of the map.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge snowball, getting those 3 mid towers. Now they're going to get this bot tower, and then they could probably rotate up to get the dragon as well. Ahri playing this really well, just pushing her lead that she got from mid to the other lanes in the map. Jack's going to come in on this. He's 1v3 right now. He's able to walk out, though. No charm going to land on that. And Battle will lose their mid tower. Malzahar TPing in to make sure that nothing else happens. And it looks like they've kind of reached a stalemate at this point, but Darius getting a solo kill in the top lane. We missed that. Maybe the Nasus looks like the wave was pushed a little bit too far up.
Yeah, he's got some odd items again in his inventory. We're looking at items again. He's bought 2. We'll get back to that a little bit later.
Yeah, the double Glacial Shroud. Now I'm trying to think of what that could build into. Maybe he's going Frozen Heart and Righteous Glory?
Not the best use of your gold. And when we talk about items again, everyone in the crowd who might not know, items are what make these champions, these players, stronger. It's what gives them bonus stats, bonus kind of perks per se, and allows them to kind of scale throughout the game. And itemization is very, very important. That's why we talk about maybe Jordan. We've seen Jordan, JT plays go in multiple times.
Hold on here. Shyvana overextending for this red buff. 4 people are collapsing on her. She was on a ward. The jump, unstoppable dragon form to get away. Jinxo coming through.
Paulie
the Soraka
with the
saves
save.
him. 100 HP on the Shyvana. Pops the potion at the end of the trade.
Cleaned by Cameron, ruling Ocean.
Collapsed on by 4 people, and he's able to make that escape.
I gotta say, that was a little unnecessary for him to be there, but he pulled it off.
Overextending a little bit, walking over a lot of wards, and that'll actually give up the dragon as well. Something that they probably would have liked, but it looks like they might go for this fight. Shyvana healed up from that Soraka there, but not enough engage right now to catch up to them. With no Shyvana ult, that's really all that they have.
And I say that's a little bit poor planning on the side of Battle. You're making a decision to try to invade in the enemy jungle, trying to take away those resources, but in return, he lost a lot of health, lost the cooldown on his ultimate, and they have to inevitably give away that dragon then to Rockbridge. So they kind of just threw away a little bit of the lead that they've just taken.
Playing a little bit too confidently, even though they got the 3 towers mid, there's still some large CS leads in the top
didn't even
and
have
mid lane.
boots.
So.
But coming in from the bot lane side, though, we saw Icy Mr. Lamb, Kobe, and Paulie, Charbel being kind of bullied out throughout the lane. But up until recently, up until the last 2 minutes or so, Icy Mr. Lamb hadn't bought items. So he just backed and just bought a BF sword and a Zeal. We talk about items, item spikes a lot. Those being when they buy a certain kind of item or a certain number of items that they just get significantly stronger. It just synergizes well with their character, and we're going to see that now from Icy Mr. Lamb. Before he was sitting on no items, now he's got 2 pretty big ones in terms of power spikes, and we might see him now contributing more to these team fights. And just in general, Battle's done a pretty good job playing the macro game, I guess up until that dragon fight right there. So it's still very, very close right now. Rockbridge has the 1-kill lead, even though Battle leads actually in gold by 1,000.
Yeah, and this top tower here for Battle is really low, but it looks like they're rotating their bot lane to the top side of the map. That'll help them defend this even longer and just deny that gold from Rockbridge. It's just kind of delaying the inevitable, but you know, every inch in these games really matters. And it looks like there might be a party here in the top lane. Everyone kind of showing up at the same time. Just a few wards going down. No one looking to commit to a fight yet, but this could potentially be a 5v3. It looks like Jinx and Nami are nowhere close to this fight. Malzahar going to get chunked out. Playing a little bit too far forward there.
Oh, we're hearing screaming going on from the player side on Rockbridge. Again, we're behind by about 3 minutes, so 3 minutes from now. Note that down. That'll be a big play on the map.
22-35. Everyone keep an eye out for it. It looks like this top lane tower going to get pressured. All 10 people up here on the map. And when we're in situations like this, it's really important that even though no one is in the other lanes, it's important to take a look at them and see what's going on. So in the middle lane, we have a big creep wave pushing into the tower mid. And so what's going to happen is if this hits the tower, Battle's going to lose all of this golden experience from these minions. So this is actually advantageous. If everyone sits top and nothing happens, this is advantageous for Rockbridge right now. So they're okay just kind of stalling.
It looks like they recognize that though Circline rotating to the mid lane to clean up those minions. It looks like all the Battle is going to rotate here. I'm hoping maybe we're going to see a first 5-on-5 team fight here. And I guess when it comes down to items, most of the teams are actually relatively even. You know, a slight lead going to the Darius on Rockbridge, and a slight lead, of course, to the Shyvana and the Ahri for Battle. But the marksman side is still relatively even. So I bet these team fights could go either way, depending on how well.
I'm going to go ahead and say most of Rockbridge's gold, that 1,000 gold lead, is pretty much on that Darius. You can see right here the gold numbers. Yeah, just like you said, the Shyvana's a little bit stronger than Jax. The Darius is a little bit further ahead, but everyone else is pretty much even across the board. And so these team fights will be very interesting.
Yeah, you pointed out very, very well. The Darius being lead, Frozen Maelstrom in the top lane. Not only is he ahead by 2 kills, you can see here, he's also ahead by almost 40 CS. And again, like I said, 15 CS is equal to 1 kill. So if he's up by 45 CS, he's almost up by 3 kills, being 5 kills, I guess, on you know who it is, 77. Meaning he's very, very strong in compared to his lane.
And Shyvana just forcing Jax out. Jax was going for the tower, it looks like. Both of these top towers are extremely low, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people rotate up here just like we did before. A few people hanging around the mid lane. There's not really much for Battle to get there, though, so you know, if they can just shove the wave with that Sivir and rotate around, that's a lot of free pressure they have.
Oh, we see Battle denying vision away from the Baron, one of the larger neutral objectives. See a huge engage coming out from Cameron, Ruling Ocean onto the Malzahar. He also, Sir Klein, suppressing him, but Ruling Ocean is just too strong. He picks up 1 kill going on to the support of Rockbridge, picks up another kill onto Mini. That's 2 kills going over to Battle for free so far. Justin JT plays, not Justin Jordan, I mean, escapes with his life using the Blast Cone, and with 2 members dead on the side of Rockbridge, Battle is going to rotate to the Baron buff, one of the giant neutral monsters on this side of the game. It is one of the win conditions for most teams when deciding whether or not they try to close this game. But we're coming up on the 3-minute mark from where Rockbridge had a big scream, yell out. So I'd reckon that is the
really nice Jinx ult.
Oh no!
Actually gets 2 kills off of that. Huge ult. And
Riley,
you have to wonder, Nasus has teleport right now, so if he teleported up and was able to tank that Baron, it honestly would have been a free objective for Battle, but that's a huge turn. 2 kills on your late game hyper carry and denying that Baron.
Yeah, that was
honestly
super
Rockbridge
clutch.
can just go straight to Baron now as well. They know everyone else is off the map.
So back to the instant replay here. We see 4 members of Battle on the Baron, but right now they're getting it real low. And then the rocket comes in across the map from Riley, knocked multiple members of them low, and the Baron cleans them up on the flip side, picking up 3 kills. And again, there's your instant replay brought to you guys by Veterans United. Thank you so much again, Veterans United. Getting back to the game, though, that's huge. That right there could have turned the tide of the game here. Again, Rockbridge is still behind in gold. They're down by about 1,000. But if Battle was able to secure that Baron, they easily could have gone down and pushed that inhib. It might have even nailed
Nasus
the game.
dropping the Wither on Jax, getting a little bit of poke down, but they're not able to lock him down enough. And Mini just teleporting in to back up his team. We have 10 people around the mid lane again. And like I said before, there's not really much here for Battle to get. So they just want to look to shove this creep wave really fast, maybe go back to top, go back to 1-4. They had a really nice setup before, but you know, maybe they just didn't think they needed the Nasus to help them with the Baron. And that could be, you know, that was their one big window into the game that was almost handed to them, and now they're going to have to fight for it again.
Yep, and for you guys, you might not understand here, this game is very, very close. Multiple huge plays coming out on both sides, a lot of action, but it's still very, very close. Battle does have the lead in objectives, having 4 towers and an open inhib, meaning they cracked open the base of Rockbridge, getting them one step closer to securing the win. But on the flip side, though, Rockbridge picking up the right kills, slowing Battle down.
Yeah, and honestly, even though they got that inhibitor tower so early, that was at 15 minutes, right? It's 24 minutes now, 9 minutes later, and there's no pressure on that mid, so does it even matter that that tower is gone, you know? There's all this free gold sitting on the outside. It looks like Nasus is going to pick that up, but Darius flashing forward onto the Ahri. He'll dash right away from the pole, and now it looks like Rolling Ocean is caught on the wrong side of this fight. Gonna jump right in and finish off the Darius, though. They're just trading 1-for-1. Darius, 4 Jacks, and the Dragon will go over, though. So a slight lead for Rockbridge.
Yeah, that's a pretty good engage.
Oh, the Charm lands, though, and that should be the end. Just barely gets out. No, the Boomerang will catch him out.
The kill.
And so now it's a 4v3. And Battle just pushing them out of that fight. Yeah, maybe overstayed a little bit too long. And Nasus is free-shotting this top tower. He's going to get a lot of gold from his team in this split push.
That was the one thing about that fight that I wanted to point out. In the situation, Battle had 4 members on the Dragon. They're trying to secure the objective. Rockbridge inevitably steals it away, picking up a kill in return. But Nasus, Abdul in the top lane, he was there alone. It was a 4v5 on the other side of the map, and Abdul got free damage. He got the first top tower, and of course, more damage on the second tier top tower. So that was very well played by Battle, even though they gave away the Drake. The Ocean Drake being one that allows them to recover more mana and health over time. Not so good later on in the game. So that was a pretty good trade for Battle if that was the whole strategy to let Abdul split push.
And you can see here, Battle is now about 2,000 or 3,000 gold in the lead. So getting that extra tower, getting the 1 extra kill, it's small, but can help them a little bit. Ruling Ocean maybe overextending a little bit now. No help from his team, running into 2 people. He's just going to get run down and dunked by Darius.
Clean by Lee, Frozen Maelstrom. Again, that's the second time we've seen Cameron Ruling Ocean kind of overextending without vision and running into...
Yeah, and he died right in front of Baron Pit. He is the jungler, so this is just going to be given away for free. His teammates aren't even in the area to respond.
Yeah, for reference, guys, junglers it's their job to secure these neutral objectives. Cameron going down for Battle means they have no real chance of taking that away from Rockbridge in a 4v5 situation. And now Rockbridge turning it around. They've picked up the Baron buff, allowing them to push lanes a little bit more aggressively, stalling it out, giving them more chances to come back in this game.
Yeah, that's a big misplay there, honestly, by Shyvana. It's really important as a team to be on the map together and be off the map together, right? So that you can keep up the maximum pressure. And, you know, if you're out there alone, there are 5 enemies on the team. You don't have vision of all of them. And so if you run into an unfortunate situation like that, you can see it. It turned the game right back on its head. We're back to 1K gold lead, and before it was, you know, a few minutes ago it was 3K.
Yeah.
1 kill.
And the top side of the map, Darius picks up the top tower. Second tower going over for Rockbridge. It's now 2-5. Trips the towers. Battle still ahead by about, well, actually, they're only ahead by about 400 gold.
Really negligible at this point. The game is back to dead even, except for the fact that this Baron buff is just going to help destroy these towers. Darius, he's an okay split pusher. He's got an auto attack reset, so...
We see Sir Klein running up to the top lane. Maybe they're trying to find a pick.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to cut him off. I don't know if Soraka's going to be able to do much to keep him in place. He's going to walk out of here for free and get a lot of damage on that tower. So turning right back around, dead even. If they run into each other in the jungle, there's nothing Soraka can do.
Good
Early flash. Good call on his part, but both teams collapsing on this now.
Yeah, and this is where things are getting, it's kind of a nail biter right now. You keep seeing mistakes like where someone gets picked out, just like that. If Paulie there was picked out, another 4v5 situation, it's about this time in the game where those little mistakes kind of spell the end of your game here.
Yeah, this has been really well played by both teams, but it's just going back and forth and teams capitalizing on these small mistakes. I can definitely tell that their team play has improved over this break.
Both teams really, really want to walk away with this win. Again, they're both sitting at a 2-1 record. One of them will drop to even a 500 record. The other one will pull ahead 3-1, and they'll be leading in the B team rosters. So that's there's kind of a lot on the line here in regards to the standings.
Yeah, no one really walked away with a clear first place in the first round robin, so it would definitely feel nice to finally claim that title. And with the Baron buff wearing out soon, they're going to send Darius bot lane. Another really good call. He has this massive creep wave that he can buff up. When you have Baron, the minions get stronger and they get healthier, so it's very hard for the turret to kill them. Look how slow it's dealing damage to those minions, and they're going to shred that tower, and that will just barely put Rockbridge in the lead. Again, it's really going to come down to these team fights. I don't think that, you know, just they're going to let this split push happen and take the game away. It looks like they're already roaming down to prevent that from happening. So
now going back, this was all because, honestly, of Shyvana Ruling Ocean getting caught out. He got caught out for free and allowed Rockbridge to take away that neutral objective, the Baron. With that Baron, they've now secured two turrets and now taking control of this game.
Speaking
they have
of
all
getting
the pressure.
caught out, though, it looks like Nasus is getting roamed on. They might be able to catch him with the move speed from Nami, but it doesn't look like they're going to commit too much. That was very close, though. If he maybe a second or two later, Nasus would have been caught there by the Malzahar, locked down. But it looks like Rockbridge is doing okay. They didn't catch him, but able to keep him off the tower long enough. And both teams now kind of deciding what to do. This is really the hardest part of the game for teams to decide. There's so much space on the map that, when you start the game, you have your set lanes and you know what to do and you have your little line to push down. But in this situation, as a squad, you really have to be coordinated. You have to have your win conditions in mind. You need to know where you're going to go. And it looks like for battle here, they're setting up for this dragon. They're going to take the Scuttle Crab, get a little bit of vision. And Rockbridge are in the area too. So both teams kind of hugging this bot side because the next objective will be this dragon coming up. It's an Infernal too, so on even gold, that's going to be a huge damage swing for whoever gets this.
Yeah. Infernal Drake being the one that grants bonus damage and ability power, just basically meaning they get stronger. Everyone on your team, when you secure that dragon, will get stronger. They'll deal more damage. So that's definitely a dragon, like you said, they want to prioritize, especially in the stalemate situation that both teams are in. I like watching this, though. Both teams are really fighting tooth and nail. The lead's going back and forth. These are the exciting kind of games that you love to see.
Yeah, and again, we talk about what happens in the lanes where there are no champions. And in that top lane, you can see a big creep wave building for Battle this time. So the longer this stalls out, if nothing happens, Battle's going to get a little bit of a lead, and they might even get that top tower for free. So Battle just wants to play this really slow and just kind of wait out. They don't want to start the dragon, but they want to keep Rockbridge interested in the dragon, right?
Yeah, Rockbridge does have vision in the pit, so they can see if Battle does opt to start the dragon. Looks like multiple members of Rockbridge are roaming towards the mid lane.
Yep.
Battle has cleared away the vision in the pit. And Jinx, Riley, she's gone down to the bot lane. She will not be here immediately.
Yep, and there you go. They just saw Jinx clear the minion wave in the bot, so they're going to start this tower knowing it's a 4v5. Jinx ult used early, not going to have the same effect as at the Baron pit. And they should be able to burst this down. Hopping over the wall, Jax does not get the smite. It's secured by Sivir, and the fight's going to break out. Soraka going down early. Shyvana jumping into the backside will get ulted by the Malzahar. And he might be in a little bit too deep. Nasus tanking for his team, but he's going to get pulled in again in the battle. It's so close. So many people low on Rockbridge, but it's Rockbridge getting the kills. Battle not able to finish any of those kills off. Darius TPing top to save the tower, and that's going to be a pretty big swing here for Rockbridge.
Now, we'll break down exactly what happened there in a little bit, but want to see if Rockbridge, how much they get out of that big team fight win. We saw multiple members on both teams jumping onto the back lines. Ruling Ocean jumping forward, getting CC, but really trying to stop the damage dealers on Rockbridge from dealing damage to his tanks and his carries. But he went down a little bit quicker. And then on the flip side, Battle's carries weren't able to deal the damage necessary to turn that fight. It was very, very close. But
yeah,
Rockbridge
I could have seen that going
away.
either way. One big thing to note is this Sivir does not have a lot of critical damage. She doesn't have the Infinity Edge finished yet, so maybe just a little bit more damage and she would have been able to win that fight. Sivir and Jinx want fights just like that, where everyone's really grouped up and they're able to deal maximum damage. So
yeah, that's something to note. Kobe, Icy Mr. Lamb, he doesn't have an Infinity Edge yet. That is a very necessary key component to building this marksman, this character, and he doesn't have it yet. Maybe he forgot it. If he still picks it up now, it's not too late.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going for the attack speed, maybe a little bit more critical strike, but without that extra damage, it'll be hard for him to impact these fights as much.
Looks like we slowed down the game a little bit, so we're going to go back and see if we could watch that team fight one more time. We see the Dragon going over, though, to battle. They do pick it up. Sivir able to secure it, but on the flip side, multiple fights are breaking down on both ends. The tanks going onto both backlines. The Shyvana does go down very, very quickly, being ulted by both the Malzahar and I guess most of the other teammates on Rockbridge. But now the rest of this fight just breaks down to, it kind of just boils down to an amazing bubble out by Dasso. He's able to secure the CC, the crowd control, onto Icy Mr. Lamb. He goes down, one of the main sources of damage for battle, and that's one of the main reasons why Rockbridge walks away with that win in that fight.
Yeah, and that was just one or two abilities on those players on Rockbridge's team, and they would have been dead too. That would have been even fight, so just really close margins here. Again, only 1,000 gold though, so not a big deal, but just like that Dragon was up and everyone grouped around it on the bottom side of the map, now the Baron is up, an even more important objective, and everyone, again, grouped up here around the mid lane. So we're probably going to see another big team fight. And with it being so close, we could see the same fight again, but it could go either way.
And we've started to pass now from the mid game to the late game part of the game. This is a very, very good part of the game for multiple members in this game to be at. I keep saying the word game. I'm not.
Yeah, the later the game goes, the more items everyone gets and the stronger they get. And so the AD carries, the people who you're relying on to be the strongest point this late game, are finally getting the items they need. And so they have a ton of damage. The tanks get harder to kill. And so everyone gets more defined in their roles, I guess. Really smart here from Rockbridge. So what you want to do in these situations is just push the mid lane and then back off and go threaten to take the Baron. So they're going to kill this creep wave here and then maybe posture towards Baron and try and pull battle into them and get the advantage in the fight.
And like you said before about scaling AD carries, being Riley back here, she plays Jinx, which is a hyper carry, meaning there's some characters that are stronger early games, characters are stronger late game. Jinx is one of those characters that is very, very strong late game. And so it's really going to be up to her to kind of decide whether these team fights are going to go in favor of Rockbridge. If she's able to survive, avoid the CC, stay in the backline to let her tanks protect her, she's going to shred Battle's team.
Yeah, and on the other hand, you know, Battle's goal in these fights should just be to get to that Jinx, because really the consistent damage is a little bit, like, significantly lower if they can kill the Jinx. And Mini on that Malzahar dropping his shield, getting poked down a little bit, but they're going to take control of this Baron Pit, take out all of the wards again, so there's no vision here.
Yep. Battle cannot see inside of that pit, so they don't know what's going on.
This is what the Battle players are seeing right now. So they know the Baron's not being taken, but they have no idea where anyone else is. On the flip side, you know, both teams know that each other is here. They just don't have any vision. So one person pushing a little bit too far out or walking too far off to the side could get caught. So it's really important that you stay together, communicate really well as a team in these situations. Yeah, and they're both just trying to get the push in the mid lane. Again, we'll talk about the creep waves in the side. If you look at the bottom lane, a huge advantage for Battle. So, oh, it looks like Flash being burned on Sivir. That's a huge spell that she would want for this fight. Getting poked down. She'll get healed up by Soraka, but with Nasus pushing in the top lane, Rockbridge might look to engage here, getting a lot of poke down. That Jinx has huge range this late in the game. A massive pull onto the Soraka. I don't know if she'll escape. The Malzahar ult goes down, and that's a free kill there for Rockbridge. It looks like they're going to keep diving under this tower. They've reached that late game point where they can just tank these towers and ignore them. A huge charm, though. Perfect to catch out the Malzahar. And it's only going to be a 1-for-2. Not as bad. Nasus is based. I don't know if they can defend this tower. There's no creep wave to help them take it, and they're going to be able to hold.
And that was a great decision-making by Rockbridge. They saw one member of Battle appear in the top lane, so they knew it was a 5v4. And then, you know, props to Frozen Maelstrom. Lee finding a two-man pull, starting off that whole fight. They pick up those kills for free, and they get the tower, too. They don't get anything else, but, again, that's more objectives back in their pocket. And they're now ahead by about 2k gold, ahead by 4 kills, and they're evening up this turrets. It's currently 4-5. They haven't broken open any bases yet, so it's still relatively close, and this game can go either way.
Yeah, and something important to note is Darius used his teleport. That's a 5-minute cooldown to get to the bot lane to save his turret. So if Battle go and force the Baron right now, he is not able to teleport in, whereas Nasus and Ahri have teleport. So they're able to create some pressure in the side lanes and make some TP plays. I'd really like to see if they can kind of position on the map well enough to do that.
And we see members on the Rockbridge side, both of their teammates out here holding up signs, cheering on their team. Oh, hopefully they're cheering them on.
I think they're blocking the sun. I'm not really...
It could be the sun, too. That would make sense as well.
That's what
that makes more sense. I was hoping it'd be something more positive. Just so you guys know, we actually just got blinds in because we know daylight savings.
The curtains are on the way.
Yes, the curtains are here. They will be installed very shortly to block out that terrible, terrible sun that happened. Thank you, daylight savings time.
Yeah, and we talk about how you rank the objectives, right? So the dragons are a little less important than the Baron on the top side, but later in the game, this is the Elder Dragon. So all of the smaller dragons that you get throughout the game, when you take this dragon, it buffs all of the if you get the Infernal Dragon, killing this dragon gives you double the Infernal Dragon's strength. So it makes all of the previous decisions you made on objectives you've taken even stronger. So, it's kind of comparing apples and oranges. The Baron buff helps you take towers. The Elder Dragon helps you win fights. So if you're able to take the Elder and then fight them at the Baron, that's ideal. So both teams kind of posturing around this now. This is basically what the late game should look like, A lot of the towers are down. It's not as easy to push them because the enemy sees you coming. And so we're 5v5ing around these big objectives. When we talk about team fighting, that's basically what we mean here. Now, something important to note. I talked about Darius' teleport being down early. He is alone in this top lane, right?
I mean, so he can't get there, right?
He cannot show up to this fight. So if this dragon is forced right now, which is what they should do, they might lose their top tower, but this dragon should basically be free for battle right now if they pull the trigger.
Lamb is in the mid lane too, so technically it is a 4v4. Looks like Battle does recognize that Darius is in the top lane, so they're peeling off the dragon. They don't really want to take that fight.
But they're in a bad spot now. They're just giving up this tower for free. Now, the gold is not going to mean a lot immediately. No, they're actually teleporting.
Terrible
and that's going to be interrupted, though.
Forcing
to fight the Malzahar to lock him down. His team is not committing to this fight. Even when they have the advantage, a huge misplay by Battle. They're so worried about these towers when the free fight was right in front of them. They had the numbers, and they knew Darius couldn't show up, but they just ignored the fact that they could have won that fight.
Pretty big misplay there by who it is.
And you have to wonder if that was Shyvana being, out of place a few times this game, really kind of screwing his team over in a sense by being out of position there.
Yeah. And it happens. It's these little kind of tiny decisions early on that kind of impact the late game. And in the late game, it's really about your team's decision making that allows you to close out the game. Great job by Rockbridge playing it slow, not committing too much, too hard anywhere, potentially throwing the game. And they find these picks here and there. They're not straight on winning team fights. They're not acing the other team, but they're finding picks here and there that allow them to secure these objectives. On the flip side, they pick up the Baron, but Battle, recognizing that, they immediately peel towards the Elder Drake. So they both get that orange and that apple, and we're going to see how
we'll see which one's better.
Yeah. Again, so like we said before, it buffs all of your dragon, all the dragons you have, all those passive buffs that you get before.
So Battle's going to get a lot of extra damage to champions and damage to objectives. So, if they're able to find a good fight here, even though they kind of misplayed the map a little bit earlier, they did the right thing and just avoiding the enemy team in the 4v5 situation, taking the other objective on the other side of the map, and just kind of saying, hey, we lost the Baron, we'll take the dragon, we'll trade, we'll see what we can do with it. So Battle should be stronger in 5v5 fights with this buff, but if Rockbridge can spread them out on the map and play that a little bit better, then they have the advantage. So we'll see what team plays to their strength here.
We talked about scaling again. Battle starting to get better items. Again, we see their tanks getting tankier. Kobe, Icy Mr. Lame, has picked up the Infinity Edge like we talked about before. It increases his critical strike
Both teams
damage.
walking incredibly close to the Malzahar, getting pulled over the wall actually, but able to jump out, being Shyvana. Almost a good pick there, but a lot of damage done from that Malzahar, hitting these late game item points.
And that's what to say about Rockbridge. Tristan and Riley, like Minnie and Rilo, they deal a lot of AoE damage. Riley, she's actually 5-0-6 right now. She hasn't died once, and she is by far, the carry in this game. She's got significantly stronger items compared to her lane partner. And
the flash forward, catching Nasus, and just going to one-shot him, but they trade for the Nami. I don't know if that was worth it for Battle here, and they're just going to get chased down. Jax maybe going a little bit too far forward, is just going to get finished off, and both carries are so low. The Rocket finishing off Sivir, but everyone else is dead, and Jinx escaping with a sliver of health. Soraka keeping her team alive in this scenario.
And that's one thing.
Close in these fights, but this is a 2v1 situation, and remember, 27 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
The mid tower
This
went down, so this is a free
Oh my
inhibitor.
God. This game is so hype right now. So initially, Paulie, the guy that protected forward healer, he's playing Soraka. He wasn't there in that fight. Normally, he'd be like, hey, why is my healer not there healing my teammates? But because he wasn't there, he didn't go down. He was able to come a little bit later and barely save Icy Mr. Lamb in the middle of that, allowing him to pick up another kill. Sir Klein, again, popping off. He's 409, just like Riley. She's 707. Both these carries haven't died yet, and they're doing a really good job dealing their damage. Now, on this side, though, Battle able to walk away with a positive trade. They have more members on the map, and they get the objective, the inhibitor. Inhibitors, if you guys forgot, they actually increased, I guess they actually spawned super minions in that lane. They're a lot stronger, they deal a lot more damage, a lot harder to kill, kind of like what we said with the Baron buffs. And so that's another win condition for Battle they just secured. They're able to have a lot more pressure on the map now.
Yeah, and like we said before, Baron helps for pushing the waves. The Elder Dragon helps for the fights, and it really showed up there. Battle able to just edge out a small lead in that fight and really turn it in their favor.
Yeah.
They get the inhibitor, which gives you these super minions that are going to push down the lane. Now they're incredibly tanky, incredibly strong, and so that'll just eternally push the wave. For the next 2 minutes, someone has to deal with this or else it's going to push all the way to their base. And being the middle lane, it's the easiest to deal with, but it's still a nice little map lead.
Yeah,
for Battle.
It's a funny thing, too. Rockbridge was the one that took that fight. They used multiple flashes, tried to find those engages, and they didn't win that fight. They do have the gold lead still, so they are arguably stronger in these fights. They're ahead by about 3k gold, and, of course, 4 kills, tied in turrets. So Rockbridge, I'd say, is still stronger.
Yeah, and something important to talk about. We talk about gold lead and item lead all the time, but as it gets later into the game, you only can hold 6 items. So once people reach that point, once everyone on the, your team reaches that point, you can't get any stronger. There is no way to get any more stats onto you, and so...
Yeah, Riley, for instance, she is at 6 items. She will not get any stronger from her item. She will get 1 more level, and she'll scale a little bit, but Rilo, the Jinx, she's not going to get any more items.
Yeah, it looks like Ari getting caught out here, pushing too far up, and just finished off by the Malzahar, who's able to single her out. That's a 4v5 on the map for 60 seconds, and it looks like a fight's breaking out in the mid. Malzahar teleporting in, not sure where that is to, just to the mid to back his team up, but they have a 4v5, and they recognize it.
Good pick by Tristan Mini. That's the first death going over to Sir Klein. And because of that, the 4v5 situation, I like the TP. I hope, it probably sounds like they're going to push this objective down, try to secure an inhibitor of their own.
Yeah, at this point, losing 1 player on your team is a ton of damage.
As long as the game goes, your death timers also increase. So Sir Klein, he's still dead for another 30 seconds.
Yeah, 28 seconds on that death timer. It looks like, yeah, they're not going to try and siege this. The Sivir is really good at wave clear, so if you're not able to just dive her and take her out, look at how fast she kills the minions. And without the minions, you can't really push the tower. So this game's stalling out longer and longer. Completely different from the last week we had before break, where I believe we had 2 20-minute games in a row. This is longer than both of them combined.
And
so big change in pace.
I'd say some of it is due to obvious misplays, mistakes, people getting caught out, but honestly, better macro play across the board.
Huge damage coming out from the Jinx onto the Sivir. Gets the move speed with the flash to finish off the kill, and then
Riley
just
popping
chasing
off.
down those kills. The rocket going wide, not going to finish anyone else off, but it looks like Ruling Oceans. Shyvana went down as well, fighting the Darius. So just being out of position, not waiting for the team's backup, and that's, again, a 5 versus 3 situation.
Yeah.
And this should definitely be able to be capitalized.
Yeah, we talked about before. She's on a massive kill lead. Riley 8-0-7. Definitely doing her job as the AD carry, attack and damage carry.
Yeah, and this is what we want to see. Just brute forcing these towers. Not much that Battle can do in this situation with the Jinx being so strong.
That's what I'm most excited to see, though, here. Like I said before, last time we watched this
Soraka going
play,
on the flank, not really sure about that one. He's not going to get slowed, so he's fine, but on the front side of the fight, he needs to be healing his teammates. They're just going to get Nami ulted, knocked up. Nasus so close to going down the redemption, keeping him alive, but I don't know if the base can stay alive. No healing for these towers. They're just holding off Darius just long enough to flash away from Malzahar. Everyone's spawned now, so the re-engage might come through. They're getting chased down. Malzahar finishing off Sivir, though. That's a lot of sustained damage. Jinx getting caught out. This is going to be Jinx's first death. Just left alone by her team. Malzahar with that damage over time finishing off. This game is crazy.
Yeah, it looked for a second there that Rockbridge might close out the game, but Battle just turns around.
Yeah,
after
Cameron
spawn.
Rolling Motion running into this unwarded jungle, not knowing how many people are in the bush. Will get ulted, but just walks away, burning his flash. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was crazy right there. I actually was convinced for a second there that Rockbridge going to walk away with the win there. They had multiple members down. Battle just spawned. I see Mr. Lamb, the AD carry, he spawns. He walks up, instantly dies to Tristan Mini. So much damage coming out, but they're able to pick up the kill on Riley. She, again, played phenomenal up until that point. She hadn't died yet, but she's most of their team's damage. She goes down, and they're able to pick up the rest of the kills. And Battle, a little breath of life back into them. They are down, though, by the most gold deficit that we have seen this entire game. They're currently down by 6,000 gold. Rockbridge has all of the control in these fights. They're significantly stronger, and stall out a little bit longer, though.
Yeah. It's, they get the inhibitor, but it's not closed out. So for them, it is the bottom inhibitor, which means that bottom lane for Battle is going to be pressured constantly, which unfortunately for them is on the opposite side of the Baron buff. Now, we saw this about 7 or 8 minutes ago. Both of those buffs, the Baron and the Elder Dragon, have just respawned. So we're going to be in the exact same situation where we were 7 minutes ago, and we're just going to see the same thing play out again. Both teams have a little bit of experience now hovering around these objectives. We've seen this constantly for the past probably 30 minutes here almost. And so Rockbridge getting a good head start on this Dragon. They're just going to try and burn it down. I don't know if Battle can respond in time. They have the Sivir. It looks like they're pushing in, probably trying to force the fight. Rockbridge stuck between the Dragon and the enemy team, but Shyvana jumping in super deep. This is going to be a 50-50. Jax is going to get the Dragon, but Malzahar goes down early. The Nami goes down as well.
That's 2 members of
Jinx
Rockbridge
is
down
getting
in
caught
this
out
fight.
between Nasus, and it's a huge swing for Battle.
That's 4 members of Rockbridge down.
Oh,
Battle
does
only
finish off the
loses
Sivir.
2.
A huge ult, though. No. With Sivir getting caught out, they're not going to be able to push these towers fast enough.
And that was insane. The tanks kind of just suffocated all of Rockbridge. They were trapped in that pit, unable to go anywhere. No one was able to peel for Riley. Jinx, she goes down for the second time. She's 9-2 and 9, but her going down, that's most of the damage on their team. Mini also goes down. They have no way to take down you-know-who it is. He's just so
I feel like
in this
Battle
game.
should be able to close on this push. Look at the death timers. 25 more seconds on anyone from Rockbridge. This is a 3v1 situation. This Jax is Aptigama huge to close out this game. They should just focus on hitting the towers.
We saw you-know-who it is playing the Nasus. He was getting bullied all day long by this Darius, but look how tanky he is now. He single-handedly just kind of stood there as a wall for his team, really fulfilling that role as a
7
tank.
more seconds. 1 second on Nami. Nami's just spawning, but Jax getting chunked out. They really just need to focus the Nexus here and close out this game. This could be the win for Battle. It's so close. Everyone just respawning, but they will finish out the game.
Battle picks up the win.
Back in fourth. Oh my gosh.
Down by 6K gold. They're right there at the end. 5K. Almost losing the game less than 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think both teams had multiple times where they could have closed the game out. That was really back and forth until the end. I don't think there was ever a point where one team clearly had the lead. It was going back and forth, super tense. And 50 minutes long as well.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to the instant replay brought to you guys by Veterans United. We see Rockbridge is trying to rush down the Elder Drake at the last second using that DPS. Shyvana's in the back of the pit trying to steal it. He does go down, Ruling Ocean. And then it looks like Rockbridge actually kind of had a good position there, but it looks like multiple members have been split apart. They're not targeting the right people, whereas on the Battle side, they just pick them apart one by one.
Yeah, and that's such a small thing, but I think if Rockbridge were able to pull the Dragon out of the pit and not force themselves to get clumped up there, that's really what lost them the fight, is being grouped up in that pit. But a really nice engage from Battle, and they were able to take the game off of that.
That was a very, very well played match. If you think about the macro play played across the board for all of these players, it's insane. I am thoroughly impressed by both of these teams and how far they've come. Like you said before, it was kind of a bloodbath previously, and these guys are playing at a really, really high level in their decision making. And congrats to Battle, pulling ahead now 3-1 in the standings for the B team rosters.
Yeah,
we're going to be taking now a short intermission for the next 15 minutes while we prep the stage for the A team rosters going into their varsity matches. So stay tuned, don't leave, don't click away from those browsers. We'll be right back. I like to I like to love you every day. I like to love So you guys think you're good at Fortnite? Then we want you guys to prove it here at our place, April 10th. We hear so often that you guys are so good at Fortnite, whether you're on console or PC. Well, you guys asked for it. We're providing it. The first Columbia-wide Ukatsu Fortnite tournament. Come in and enter, meet new players, whether they're on console or on PC, and compete for a cash prize in the pot. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, parents out there. These guys are spending way more on this game than the little bit of pot they have to enter. But players could potentially walk away with $72. $72 or more if you win first place or higher. And just so you guys know as well, this game doesn't necessarily take the most skill to win a game. We had a player come in before, never played the game before, and she won her first game ever. Also, if you get a solo win at our place, at our venue, we're going to put your face on our wall, on our champions wall, so you'll forever be memorialized at Ukatsu as a solo winner. And now, coming back from the break, we are back coming into the A games for both Battle and Rockbridge. We just came off of a crazy nail biter between both the B and I guess the B teams of both Battle and Rockbridge. I mean,
yeah, that was a 50-minute back and forth game. No one really had a clear lead up until the very end when the Nexus was finished off. So that was really fun to cast, really fun to watch. And a lot of the B team showed like improvement. They played really smart. I was actually surprised it didn't turn into a fiesta at some point. So, hey, I mean, if that's what the future of this league is looking like, I'm really looking forward to the next few
much
weeks.
Higher level of gameplay, a lot of fun. And that was, I'm sure every single one of them had their hearts pumping in those last couple of fights. And so now we're going to jump, though, into the A games for both Battle and Rockbridge to start the second round robin of the season. This is week 4 once again. And Rockbridge, they're sitting at a 3-0 record, the only team in the league right now to have a perfect record coming out of the first round robin. Battle, on the other hand, is sitting at a 1-2. They're currently placed 3rd in terms of what the standings are for all the A-team rosters. So they're looking to right the ship here, start getting those wins. They're looking very, very confident. Every single game they come in here, and they told us before, like, they're ready to smack down and kind of show Rockbridge, they don't necessarily deserve to be on the top. But we're going to see, though, if Rockbridge can show them that they do indeed. So we're going to jump into picks and bans here, guys, whenever you guys are ready. At the same time, though, we're going to thank you all to all of our sponsors, them being Columbia College, Armstrong, Teasdale, Veterans United, and Hawthorne Bank, bringing to you guys the Ukatsu High School Esports League. We appreciate it very much. And let's jump into picks and bans, guys. Whoever is the owner, I believe it is Charbel. Go ahead and start the picks and bans. All righty. So here we go. We're coming in to the first A game of
the second round robin. Yeah, there you go.
And
this is the first rematch for the A teams of the season.
And, of course, the first ban coming out, we've said it so many times because we're never going to see Ruling Ocean's Vladimir. It's taken away once again. He is a one-trick, amazing player on that. Never going to get it, though. On the flip side, this is the first time that we see the Cassiopeia, the Snake Lady, taken away from Kill Excel Justin. He's gotten to play it all 3 weeks. Very effective on it. It might be contributing to why, might be one of the contributing factors why Rockbridge is 3-0.
Yeah, and he has made a lot of really good plays in those games as well. It's not just an average performance. He's going above and beyond on that champion. So it's nice that some teams finally banning it out and forcing him to, show if he has any other cards in his hand, really.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. This is the point in the season now, after they play each other once, that they've seen some of the tendencies and they can actually plan ahead. So far we're seeing 2 picks out of Battle side, the Camille and the Cassiopeia taken away, both comfort picks for Andrew, VexQ in the top lane, and of course Justin in the mid lane. Those are solid picks, and it makes sense. I think coaches hey, aren't comfortable with that. They're comfortable on it. Let's take it away.
Yeah, and the Zac ban as well, targeted at Battle. Their jungler Scrumpy likes to play that a lot. The Caitlyn, another just really good late game AD carry. If it gets to that point like it did last game, Caitlyn is a strong champ. The first pick, Janna, coming up, and the insta-lock on the Akali, Hidden Gamer 20. That's kind of his signature champion in the top lane, followed by the Sejuani. Another good tank. Was hit a little bit this morning with the patch coming through, but it's only about 150 HP late game, so maybe not a huge factor.
Yeah.
The Jhin then coming in on Rockbridge's side, a champion that XM has played before and performed extremely well on. And finally, the Swain, something that in pro play is top tier. Pick or ban.
Probably going top lane.
100% win rate in Europe.
We've seen Andrew of XQ. He really, really likes that Swain champion. So we see a lot of comfort picks still going over to Rockbridge, even though multiple comfort picks were taken away. The Janna being Jaehong, Sean's signature support. And we've actually seen the Janna and the Jin before. They both are very aggressive. That's going to be a really tough lane for whatever Polly and Evan decide to throw out there. Looks like we see the top side of the map, though, picked for Battle. Again, Hidden Gamer getting his signature Akali pick. The Assassin, Sejuani being picked for Scrumpy. She really likes those tanks, CCs, big boar riding lady. And, of course, the Robot Orianna, a very comfortable pick also for Ruling Ocean. And this is...
Yeah, and another interesting thing about the Swain pick is we don't know if it's going top or mid. It's a champion that can play both lanes, and so the team that picks it has the advantage here, right? You know, you don't know what matchup you're going to get. And so it could be against the Akali, it could be against the Orianna. We'll just have to wait and see in the second round of picks here. They're banning out top laners, so just making sure that, you know, if it's not the Swain in the top lane, that Akali gets a good matchup and gets a good lead.
So it does look like, though, that Battle will have the first pick after the bans. So it will get, in the end, the counter pick, even though they aren't on the red side of the map. They take away the Gangplank as well, opting to take away two top laners, I guess, really banking on the fact and hoping that that Swain is going to go mid and not top. On the flip side, we see two marksman bans taken away taken away from Battle on Rockbridge's side, both the Tristana and the Ezreal. Makes sense.
Ezreal being a safer pick. You know, this Jin, John Elaine kind of wants to bully you a little bit, so Ezreal's safer there, and Tristana just scales so well into the late game, and actually if she gets a good jump on Jin in the lane phase, can also take him out too. So some nice target bans there towards the AD carry. Let's see what's left. Polly picking up the Jinx. We saw this champion last game. Huge range, huge damage, but has to get to that late game point. And so that's something we're probably looking for protective support then for their last pick. And we'll see what Rockbridge does. Hovering the Poppy, probably meaning the Swain will go mid. Poppy will be top lane. Might be a counter to the Akali, actually.
Could also flex into the jungle. Poppy can also sometimes be a jungle pick.
Yeah, it does well into Sejuani and Akali because of her shield that stops dashes. Hovering the Teemo, not sure if that's going to come through. I don't believe in it yet.
Pick. We'll see here. Yeah, Rockbridge has a very interesting roster. They've got multiple picks here that could go all over the map.
Yeah, and they definitely have a lot of protection for their AD carry, and I don't know if Jin is the best AD carry to do that. Jin naturally struggles with tanks, so if it gets to that late game, protecting him might not be like the best strategy, but...
Yeah, I'd like to see like a Braum coming out here for Battle. Specific Tarek's also a good pick. Like I said, for tanks, Jin doesn't do very well into tanks, and that's a pretty solid pick.
Yeah, and if he gets stunned up and rooted by that Jinx in the bot lane, that could be a lot of damage coming out, pressuring him. And they're going to go for the Tarek. Now, giving the invincibility to that Akali late game could be a serious threat to the backline, but I think Rockbridge has some good ways to deal with it as well. The Janna, the Poppy, the Swain, all of this AoE, all of this kind of counter engage.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, though, they don't have a real surefire way to get to that Jinx. We saw it in the last game. Riley popping off. She scaled very well, positioned very, very well, and that's what allowed her to, I guess, Rockbridge to win so many fights, but she wasn't able to get away towards the end there. They had the right tools to get on top of that Jinx, and the question begs, does Rockbridge have the right tools to get to Jinx? Because you put the ultimate Tarek of the support, he has his ultimate basically puts down a field over all of his teammates that makes them invulnerable to damage. Kind of really, really crazy. Really, really fun to watch in team fights if executed properly. Kind of difficult, but you know, it's going to be tough. If you can't kill the Jinx and she's invulnerable, what are you going to do? Yeah,
Tarek ult can be either the best or the most useless ultimate in the game, depending on how it's used there. And just looking at the Rockbridge side, they have a lot of disengage. They have a lot of area of effect damage, but not a lot of engage, aside from opening up with maybe the Jin or a Trundle Pillar. So they're going to be looking to play really slow, controlled fights, but they don't have necessarily... they're not going to be able to pick the fights that they want very well. They're pretty much dependent on the enemy engaging into them, but if that happens, you know, it's going to be very hard to kill the Swain or the Poppy or the Trundle.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like, the Trundle pickup does very well into Sejuani. So on battle side, they have a single tank in that Sejuani. Tarek will be tanky, but in the support role, you don't get enough gold to really become, you know, a good front line. And so when Trundle uses his ult on Sejuani, he steals her defensive stats. And so Sejuani gets weaker, Trundle gets stronger, and he's a very good pick right now. I'm interested to see how that'll play out.
Yeah, I think if Rockbridge they're gonna hit their power spikes probably in the middle point of this game. They don't scale as well as Battle, but if they're able to play around these team fights properly, which they have been. Normally, we've seen them in the last 3 weeks execute very well on their macro play, rotate right, pick the right fights, and they have a good chance of bullying out these lanes early and closing it out. So this could be a very quick game. On the flip side, though, Battle does have a lot of tools to win this game. Except for the Jinx, the team fighting is all there. They have great team fighting. They've got great engages, the right CC, and the right amount of damage. It's gonna be tough here.
Yeah, I'd say in an even-numbered fight in the mid to late game, I think Rockbridge has the advantage. But with the Orianna, with the Sejuani, the Akali, all these champions are really good at capitalizing on enemies out of position. So, if Rockbridge, someone strays too far off to the side, they could just get pulled in, stunned, and just blown up by the Jinx or the Akali. And so that's what Battle should be looking to do in the late game, is kind of split everyone up and create a lot of pressure. Both teams running double teleport, so hopefully we see a lot of split pushing, a lot of interesting map movement as the game gets later as well. We'll see what team can utilize that double teleport better. It could be a huge factor in these games.
Yeah, so I think a lot of coin flips going on. It could go either way in some of these team fights. It's rough here. Again, I'm guessing you think Rockbridge can probably edge ahead based on their previous gameplay?
I always lean towards the compositions with more engaged, though. I feel like they always have the initiative in the fights, and that's really important, especially when you have these new teams maybe, or less coordinated than the best of the best.
Yeah, a lot easier to execute when you say, hit the go button, all my players, we're going to attack now, use all your abilities.
It's easy to see what's happening.
That makes a lot of
it's easy
sense.
to communicate what's happening, whereas on Rockbridge's side, they really have to be coordinated. They have to stay together as a unit, maybe hover around the Swain and the Poppy, and so, like I said, it's really position-focused. Rockbridge comp, harder to pull off. Battle is a little more straightforward. So it's going to be close. I think it really depends on this Akali. If the Akali can find that Jhin and solo him out without the Janna saving him, that will probably win the fight for Battle in the late game.
So we're jumping into the first A games of the second round robin. It's going to be rough. I'm really, really excited. Just based on the B teams and how much they've improved over the Spanish spring break. They had their bye week. They obviously did a lot of studying and they practiced together. And I'm pretty excited to see how that shapes out now on the A team side. We've seen amazing macro play, decisive decisions coming out from Rockbridge A. That's what really put them in that 3-0 standing right now. And it's pretty solidly in that first place. And it's going to be rough for Battle, who last time at least they were kind of dismantled by Rockbridge. So we're going to see if they learn something. We see a lot of comfort bands taken away from Rockbridge. A lot of first picks. We haven't seen a lot of these champions for Rockbridge's players, and we'll see if they can execute on it.
Yeah, definitely. But as we talked about before, this was the first matchup of the season a couple of weeks ago, and so maybe the teams didn't have a lot of time to practice, and so it was based off of individual skill and individual plays. And so this time around, we have a lot more practice as teams. And so hopefully we'll see a little bit more coordinated, more calculated plays as we go on.
Okay, and as we always do, want to make sure you guys know in the audience exactly who is who. Right now, you're looking at Andrew VexQ playing Poppy. I have not seen this champion picked up in a long while. She's got a big hammer, traditionally a tank. She's got some engaged stats. She's also got this ability that puts a wall around her, a big circle around her, that prevents people from dashing into it or escaping out of it. And that's what's going to stop Hidden Gamer Scrumpy from kind of getting in on their carries. So, again, pretty good pickup. Again, not traditional, but a really, really strong pick for their comp. In the jungle now, we see Jeffrey Galaxy Fox running the Trundle pick, big troll with the club. Like we said before, he's kind of like a fighter, kind of a dueler. He could be a split pusher. He can get tanky, and his ultimate allows him to take stats away from tanks, making him really effective again into Battle's comp. Good draft. In the mid lane now, KillXL playing Swain. He's got the big cape. He's been reworked recently, so he's got a couple of new abilities. We'll see if Ruling Ocean can play around that, if he's familiar with them. And then, of course, XSim in the bot lane playing the Jhin, the Marksman, and Janna for Jaehong Sean. This pretty scary bot lane. Every single time we've seen these bot laners go at it, they're very aggressive, and it's scary. I kind of feel for Paulie and Evan. If they can make it out of lane, they'll have a good chance.
Definitely. Yeah, Jhin and Janna, very safe lane. And here in the top lane, Hidden Gamer 20 playing that Akali, kind of his signature champion. Akali really looks to dash forward, get to those carries, and just one-shot them and then hide in her little shroud of invisibility. So we'll see that play out. We've seen some really good plays in previous games on the Akali. And I'm looking forward to see that. In the jungle, we have the Sejuani. We've seen this champion before. Sejuani riding the boar there, just a big ice champion, can slow, knock people up. Her big ultimate throws out a giant shard of ice that can lock someone down for a couple seconds, and that was when she gets level 6, the big strength of this champion. In the mid lane, we have a lot of fighting going on. The Orianna and the Swain kind of doing a lot of harass. This is the Orianna. You can see that little ball she throws out. That's the main core of this champion's kit. All of her abilities revolve around that, moving it, using it to shield people, using it to damage the enemies. And her ultimate pulls everyone towards it, all the enemies towards it. And it's a huge ultimate to look for.
She really defines the control mage sort of niche. Control mage being someone that controls a lot of space with her abilities. And she's also got a lot of team fighting potential too. She's able to put that ball on her teammates. And again, all of her abilities come from that ball. So a lot of huge play potential coming out there. In the bot lane,
a lot of fighting going down the bot lane. We've seen this Jinx before in the last game. Just a reminder, a big late game carry, a lot of area of effect damage, which means that one of her auto attacks hits multiple people and deals a ton of damage. And then the Taric. This is a melee champion who likes to get in close and stun people, but also has a huge game-changing ultimate where he can make his teammates and himself invincible. It looks like there was an invade in the jungle going on in the top lane. Galaxy Fox may be stealing away the red. No, it looks like Scrumpy was able to get it. So just a trade of objectives here, putting on a little bit of pressure. He's actually going to go for this ward, but mid has priority here, and this is going to be a 3v1 collapse on him, turn into a 3v2 now. No one going to commit too hard, but a good roam by Akali on the Hidden Gamer just to make sure that his team had the numbers in this situation.
Good response. And we've seen this time and time again. Galaxy Fox constantly likes to invade, and this time a much better response by his teammates. Able to come in a little bit later. They weren't able to capitalize on him and kill him, but at least they were able to respond, maybe letting him know
good
you're not going to get away
coordination.
with it.
It's better to be in the right place and have the play not be made than to be in the wrong place and just lose out.
Now, Battle's bot laner, like we said before, they're not having a good time against Sean Jaehong and Michael X Sim. Just a very aggressive duo in general, just their playstyle. They like to poke, deal a lot of damage. Both Polly and Evan, being Charbel and Evan, they're taking a lot of damage. It's going to be a lot harder for them to continually CS in their lane, stay up in gold. They might have to recall here or give away first blood.
Yeah, and Tark has 3 potions, so he can actually heal up. And the CS is not that big of a lead. It's only 8 right now, but I think the wave's about to crash into the tower. So as long as they can keep up in the creeps, they're really not falling that far behind, even though it looks a little dangerous here. And it looks like Swain was forced out early, TPing in, and he didn't get any big item, just a Ruby Crystal and some mana regen. No tier, no catalyst. So that's actually a huge handicap to this early lane for him. And it looks like Ruling Ocean's probably going to do the same, just buy, and come back a little bit stronger. So that's a nice early lead here. Something that's really important for mid lane especially.
Now, a lot to prove on Cameron's shoulders. He is a sophomore, and he's very, very passionate about this team. And like to see him doing well.
And nothing too crazy happening in the spot lane, but Sejuani's walking around on a ward, though. So Rockbridge will back off in time. No worries there. Actually, a lot of wards down early in the jungle. A nice little line of vision. If we switch to what Rockbridge can see here, so you have a little bit of vision here and at that entrance down here where we saw Sejuani jump over. So they are able to just kind of track the Sejuani, and that's really important in the early game, is knowing where the enemy jungler is so you don't get caught off guard.
Yeah, and that's that's a big thing actually that's a little bit different than we see in the B team games. Vision being able, like the key deciding factor of who has more information on the map, and we see significantly more wards in the A team games. Maybe there's more experienced players, veterans at this game compared to some of the B team counterparts. They just place more wards, but allows them to make more decisive and rational decisions when figuring out what they want to do in a macro sense.
Yeah, the reason of Jing is getting rooted in tower, taking a lot of damage, forced to burn the heal. The damage will be turned around on Jinx, so close in this bottom lane. But both bot lanes are actually going to recall. And I mentioned this early lead in the mid lane. Ruling Ocean up 11 CS already. Sizable lead right now, and a huge health lead as well. This Swain's not going to be able to stay in the lane very long. Oh, but he is getting ganked. This is exactly what you want to do. Someone else has lead. A nice ult to kind of slow them down. Swain keeping the Orianna in place, has to burn the flash. Swain popped the ultimate as well, so it's just going to kind of be a stalemate, but They force the flash out of the Orianna, and that kind of helps this Swain get back in the lane, knowing that he can't get flashed on. He can just back out, and he has his flash if he needs to play defensive.
Yeah, so that does put Cameron Ruling Ocean at a disadvantage there. He won't have that spell to escape next time if he gets ganked by Galaxy Fox. In the bot lane, the XSIM is starting to pull ahead in CS. We see a 47-28 in the bot lane. It's getting kind of big. We'll say, though, in the last engagement, Jin had to heal, whereas Pauly still has that summoner spell, so it does put him at a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, but I don't know if the summoner spell advantage is enough to really
Survive
change this. Yeah, so
lane.
Jin has the BF sword right now to his Zeal, and so Jinx isn't going to be doing a lot of damage. She'll do small amounts of damage a little bit faster, but Jin is just going to come out with these big hits onto the enemy laners.
Man, if he actually took Fleet Footwork, it's kind of runes are kind of think like little perks people can pick for the game.
It's the decision you make out of game that gives you a little buff or a little something.
It differentiate different play styles.
Yeah.
If you'd taken a comment there, he probably would have killed Pauly. Again, Michael dealing so much damage early on.
Fleet probably better for late game though, just to kite and play a little bit safer. It gives you a little bit of healing as well.
Yeah, so slow game so far. No big fights anywhere.
Yeah, it looks like the first big play that's going to be made here is Cameron Ruling Ocean roaming to the bot lane on this Orianna. But again, there is a ward in that bush. They're going to check it and destroy it for next time. But that's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, that was a free warm, actually. He did push the wave in first, so there was a free roam. He's not going to lose CS. Does deny the vision. And that's what we want to see from these 18 players. We want to see them translating pressure around the map. Because for the most part, no one's making any mistakes. And I think that's what's really important when you're watching these games, these 18 games, that people make a lot less mistakes. They're playing more calculated. They're trying not to give away those 4v5 advantages, that kind of thing. Even though they're giving away a little bit of CS. That is why Rockbridge is ahead in gold by about 500 or so. They're pulling ahead in their creep scores, killing the minions.
Yeah, and Trundle sneaking up this top lane, but he accidentally walked out of the bush and gets spotted. So a really good gank attempt, but you know, just a small misplay there, and it's going to kind of negate any pressure he had.
Andrew VexQ up by 30 CS in the top lane. For Hidden Gamer, Akali, she kind of has to give away her early game. She needs her ultimate that allows her to dash. She's an assassin, so she needs that dash to be able to really be effective. Yeah. So it made sense he kind of lost that early game.
Cameron Ruling Ocean pushing up way too aggressive on the Swain, trying to bully him, and he's just going to get walked in on by the Trundle. That big pillar you see there slows him down so much. They give away the kill to Swain because the gold is more effective on the Swain. He gets stronger, faster with more items. Really good job there by Galaxy Fox just to kind of donate the kill to his laner. That's what you want to do in the jungle.
Unfortunate that he did give away he did take a turret shot in the middle of that fight. He might have secured that kill a little bit earlier if he landed that ultimate.
Oriole doesn't do that much damage early, but it really scales well into the late game with ability power. And so now that Rolling Ocean was just off the map and teleported mid, it looks like Galaxy Fox was trying to invade, maybe get some vision down, but everyone here able to respond in time. He might have actually overextended a little bit. No ult on the Orianna, though, so there's not a lot of threat of being pulled back in, but he's going to lose a lot of health to this. Oh, the ult is back up. Maybe it didn't even go on cooldown, but this might be a solo kill. The Jinx ult coming in. Perfect. Setting up the Jinx to get the kill. Like I said, you want the gold on the Jinx here. That rocket coming across is great for just taking kills from your teammates.
Ooh, huge ult going down out of Sean.
You can see those two players in the back were invincible while they were very shiny right there. So didn't matter too much in this fight, but like I said, late game, it could be life or death.
Aggressive flash forward by Pauly. Tried to secure the kill on Sean, but again, that's what Sean's champion does. The Janna, the mage that throws out the wind. She's just so good at disengaging and kind of force them to burn those summoners, and Battle doesn't pick up a kill there. Although they did pick up a kill on Galaxy Fox in the mid lane. That was a pretty good skirmish, good snipe by Pauly there. Evening up the kills. It's 1-1. Well, Rockbridge is still ahead in gold by about 800 or 600 or so. Purely pretty much based on the CS leads across the league.
Yeah, no one forming too big of a lead right now. It looks like Rockbridge bot lane's going to go ahead and base, and it looks like there's a fight towards the mid lane maybe. Trundle showing up again. That pillar, so hard to run past. It slows you so much, and he's without flash. Remember, burned that flash earlier with the gank. That's 3 times now Trundle's been mid. That's got to feel bad for Cameron in the mid lane. And, you know, it's really something that in this team play you have to coordinate with your jungler. So, you know, if the enemy jungler is camping you, sitting in your lane, it's a 2v1. You need your jungler to hang around as well. But, you know, when you think from Sejuani's point of view, if you know Trundle's mid all the time, you need to look towards the side lanes then. and try and create an objective somewhere or an advantage somewhere else, right?
Yeah, because that inequality there, they've taken away 1 kill on the board. Rockbridge was able to translate that into the first Drake of the game, being the Ocean Drake. Pretty good early on. It allows them to recover mana and health over time when out of combat. So pretty good to allow these guys to sustain in lane, stay there longer than they would normally.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Punishing.
That's going to make a big effect here in this mid lane where this Swain is getting bullied a lot. He's going to heal up. He is right now, getting a little health and mana. And same in the bot lane where it was close before, and now it might be even harder for this Jinx and Tarek to get any lead in the lane. So we'll probably wait for towers to fall and people start rotating around for Battle's bot lane to maybe get a lead here. But we'll see what they do with that kill. Jinx was able to get the BF sword. That's a lot of attack damage in her pocket now. Pretty comparable to the gym in terms of damage, so that was nice for them. Even though they're down in CS, they're pretty much even in gold. And everyone just kind of posturing around mid lane, maybe looking to make a play. Jhin is alone in the bot lane, and so if Battle can recognize that, they should look to make a play. Tarek has flash, and so if he channels the stun and just goes in on this, Janna is almost here. But yeah, it looks like they're going to try and pressure him before Janna shows up. Not in time, though. Throwing the traps down, just forcing Janna to wait a little bit, but no big lead pushed out of that. And here we go, talking about the hovering around the mid lane. Trundle and Sejuani just sitting here waiting for something to happen. They're going to find each other, and Sejuani is pincered between two of these champs. Now that yellow circle will stop Sejuani from dashing. He flashes and just barely doesn't get over the wall with her dash.
Galaxy Fox picking up another kill on the board. So we're just being these little pickups here and there. They're just finding kills. Good vision. I gotta say, just probably gotta hand it to them. No one's doing any crazy macro plays. They're just picking up the kills
that was
here
just
and there.
an early lead by the Poppy. Left top lane a little bit earlier. Was able to get the kill there. Ult opening up on Cameron a little bit too far up. Jhin ult slowing them down. Tarek ult's down though, so they can't take any damage for 2 seconds here. Janna ult in the back, just slowly chasing them down, but it looks like Polly is going to be the target, and he's not going to be able to escape. Oh, the pullback, the root landing on Tarek, flashing away. The flash forward by the Jhin. The last auto will finish him off. 2 clean kills here.
That's 5-1 now in favor of Rockbridge. 3 kills going over to Galaxy Fox, and 1 kill over to both of the carries, Kill XL Justin and Michael X Sim. Again, very traditional start for Rockbridge. They're just finding the right plays, and then we're seeing them rotate, kind of translating that pressure across the map. We've seen this countless times the last couple of weeks. Again, executed very, very well, not getting anything.
And this is interesting. Usually you wait for like the bot turret to fall, but both of these duos in the bot have just been roaming around the map. They've just been hanging around mid or throwing up, and they're playing around that Swain. They're playing around their strong points. So they got their mid. He was initially at a deficit. They got him a little bit ahead, and now they're just hovering around him. The Swain is the strong point right now of this team in the mid lane.
Yeah, first turn of the game going over to Rockbridge. Big gold boost. And we're seeing if Battle could make the same kind of play on the top side of the map. Looks like 2 people trying to find an engage onto Andrew VexQ.
Scrubbing landing a nice ult. Poppy is pretty close to the tower. Akali going in. Not enough damage right now to ever solo out that Poppy. I don't think Akali would ever have the damage to really take out that Poppy. So you'd need maybe another person. Poppy is basically a rock in this top lane. We saw early nothing. We didn't see any action in the top lane. That's because Poppy basically negates all of the damage Akali can put out. And so it's kind of a stalemate up here, just farming, looking to wait for the late game team fights.
And that's one of the biggest concerns for Battle when going later on this game. Rockbridge will get very, very tanky, and does Battle necessarily have the tools to deal with that? But so far, things have slowed back down. Rockbridge does a very good job of securing the kills, finding the advantages, translating that across the map, and then slowing it back down. Keeping the game at their pace.
Yeah, we saw a lot of pressure out early, got the mid tower, and now we're just kind of back to normal laning, basically. A lot of pressure going down in the bot lane, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to get this tower as it's responded to. But something to note, Cameron was getting pressured a ton by that Trundle, and now he has no turret to fall back to. So he, even being at this point, is pretty much overextended. And this allows Trundle, we can see him here, just roaming through the enemy jungle, looking for something to do, someone to catch off guard, basically.
Yeah. And what I gotta wonder if coaches are gonna catch on to this. This is something that we see every single game. Jeffrey Galaxy Fox always
Swain
has control.
And Trundle wrapping
jungle.
around. Akali stuck under tower, unable to dash with that shield put up, hiding in that invisibility shroud, but not much he can do in the 1v3 situation. But that means on the other side of the map, it leaves time for Battle to make a play. They're trying to force this in the bottom lane. It's going to be 4v2. No Sejuani ult, as that was used earlier top lane, so they're not really able to make anything out of this.
I'm actually getting a serious sense of deja vu here. This same thing happened in the Rockbridge Hickman game where they dived the top lane. Don't remember who it was, and then they made some sort of play on the other side of the map. But in the end, it goes over in favor of Rockbridge because they pick up another tower.
Yeah, and after getting that top tower, they rotate down. They saw that Battle was bot lane, so Rockbridge is just going to pick up this Rift Herald pretty much for free. No, it looks like Cameron is walking into this blind. The Swain has huge zoning potential, pulled back by the Orion ult, rooted up, and that should disengage the fight. But the Rift Herald's still being taken, and maybe Rockbridge's attention is getting a little bit split here. The ult going down, Swain's ult just ran out, so no more healing for him. He's actually flashing out into the Janna ult. The Jinx Rocket not doing any damage. It does execute damage, and no one was really low enough. And they, Rockbridge will get the Rift Herald out of that pretty safely. It was almost really close, but the Janna ult able to heal everyone up and kind of reset that fight.
Yeah, Battle not being able to find a way in. It's unfortunate that Cameron had to blow his ult earlier there to try to escape. He wasn't able to use it in a team fight, which is really rare Orianna shines. And again, it just goes back to neutral here. It's very much so in... This game is very much so in control of Rockbridge. It's kind of...
Yeah, and we can see Rockbridge now. They got the top tower. They got the Rift Herald, which is the objective on the top side of the map. Now their entire team is on the bottom side of the map where the next tower is and this dragon is. So they're really putting all of their players where all of the focus should be. And, you know, I can't say that Battle is keeping up with that, really.
Yeah,
we have someone in base. We don't have a teleport. We have someone mid.
It's almost surgical the way they're just taking them apart.
Yeah, definitely.
If you go to the vision on the map, Rockbridge currently has 3 control wards on the map. Rockbridge just has so many more wards in comparison to Battle, and that allows them to make some of these crazy decisions. You got to wonder, when are coaches going to catch on? Jeffrey Galaxy Fox, he's constantly in the enemy team's jungle making these plays.
Cameron getting forced to use his flash again. That Trundle Pillar doesn't do any damage, but it puts up a huge slow, letting your enemies catch up to you. So if you don't flash out, it can be pretty punishing. They're going to give this blue buff up, but like I said, Rockbridge just hovering around the dragon. It's an infernal dragon, which we've talked about before. It gives you a lot of damage that can really just close out this game, really. Give them a ton of power.
And they're very much so dictating control of this game. Though we will say, though, Jeffrey, the jungler for Rockbridge, he is not near the objective, so they might not want to fight this dragon. He does summon the Rift Herald on the top side of the map. As we said last game, this giant neutral monster will push the lane along with the minions and will eventually deal massive damage to the tower. Someone from Battle has to respond to the top lane here.
Yeah, and when I talked about using those teleports, Cameron Ruling Ocean is going to go up to deal with that Rift Herald. He has teleport, so once he kills it, he can show up to this fight, but it looks like it's going to break out before that. Targol goes down, big stun. Jinx barely going to stay alive, and Hidden Gamer 20 is in that backline. He's invisible right now, but he's just about to come out of the Shroud. Is he going to be able to finish off the Janna? No, it does not look like it. And meanwhile, Poppy will finish off Jinx and Swain getting Taric. So, again, Orianna had to go top to deal with this, or it was going to get a free tower. Yeah. Rockbridge doing a good job of forcing their opponent to be in a bad spot. And just taking advantage of the fight.
You gotta highlight that. That is so well played by Rockbridge in decision-making there. Basically forcing Battle into a situation that basically, that was checkbait right there. They had no choice but to respond top lane, forcing them into a disadvantaged situation in the bot lane, and then Rockbridge just takes them apart in these team fights.
Yeah, and when we talk about this game kind of being like, resembling like chess in a way, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's a lot less apparent, but once you really get to know the game, that was basically a checkmate situation where there was only a very small window of opportunity for Battle to do anything, and Rockbridge had all the time in the world to make a play there. So really good of them setting that up. That's something you have to talk about, you know, 2 or 3 minutes in advance and then execute on. And that's something that these teams have been developing over time, and it's clear here.
Yeah, Rockbridge is giving no leeway here. We saw last game a lot of throws going back and forth, and some of that's either due to indecisive decision-making or even sometimes just sloppier play. We're not seeing any of that here. Rockbridge is giving no room to Battle to find a foothold, get back in this game. Every time they find an advantage, they slow it back down, and they set up another long-term play across the map. Battle is constantly in a situation where they have to respond, never dictating the pace or flow of this game.
Yeah, and last game we saw the gold lead not get more than like 2,000 or 3,000, and right now it's almost 8,000 towards Rockbridge. This early in the game, that's huge.
Ooh.
Janna, faster than your normal champ, just getting out of the Orianna ult to try and catch her out. We talked about that earlier. Orianna really wants to try and find people alone and just pull them back in. Unable to land it there, though. And so with Rockbridge position on the map, you see Swain all the way down here in the bottom lane by himself, but he has teleport. So what he's doing is forcing someone else from battle side to come down to match him, and then he'll teleport towards the Baron on the top side of the map and create another kind of checkmate situation. And that's what Rockbridge wants to do right now.
And if you look on the map, on the minimap here, you see all these wards, the kind of little T's over here on the map, and those what grant vision, give the information to Rockbridge, and you just see so many compared to Rockbridge. As they take these towers, they're constantly pressing up. That's kind of what they're doing. It's like press coverage in a sense, and they're limiting Battle's ability to move around their own jungle, ability to make plays, and they're just keeping that pressure up in kind of a linear fashion adjacent to the towers that Battle has. And it's just starving them out, essentially. What they're doing is they're preventing Battle from farming minions appropriately, farming their own jungle, and they're just going to get further and further behind in gold, meaning they won't get items, and they'll just be weaker when team fights break out.
Yeah. And there is Janna just denying a little bit of vision there as well. So in addition to putting the vision up, the supports usually take the role of denying the vision from the enemy. So you can find those wards and you can destroy them. And so in addition to putting your own wards down, you also want to stop the enemy from having vision, of course. And so it looks like now that Rockbridge have pushed the mid lane, they're going to rotate down to the Baron. This is by the book play right here. And if, again, we switch to the vision, this is what Battle sees. Absolutely nothing. So they have a good idea of what's going on, but it doesn't look like they're moving in yet. And when we go back to vision, the Baron is getting burned down right now. They're finally going to show up. They get a ward. They get about a second of vision there. But again, it's so hard for them to make a play without any information. Sejuani's just diving in, but there's 5 people there and not enough follow-up. The Tark ult used too late. A nice Orianna shockwave, though.
Ooh,
hitting
we
a
see
ton
a lot
of
of
people.
rockets
Jinx
coming
stealing
out
a
from
ton of
Poly.
damage. And the jungler of Rockbridge will go down. Poppy going a little bit too deep, but Jinx and Orianna still alive, dealing tons of damage. Swain getting low. They have effectively stopped this Baron take, but at what cost? 2 people going down. It looks like the fight still might be going on. Swain stepping up a little bit too far. Will get taken out by Orianna, and this fight is so even still. It's a 3-on-3 now in a position where Rockbridge had the huge lead. They let the fight go.
And you gotta really hats off to Battle here in that play. Again, they were so far behind. They end up engaged. They actually take a very, very poor engage on this Baron. They had no vision here. But Battle, even though they're far behind, they're carrying position so well. Both Cameron, Ruling Ocean, and Poly staying in the backline, dealing damage the entire time. And that's what's important. It's okay for Hidden Gamer to go in, try to get those assassinations. It's okay for Scrumpy to be in the front line, trying to tank everything. But as long as Cameron and Poly, being the Orianna and the Jinx, as long as they're in the backline dealing damage, they're doing their job. And even though they're behind, that's what allowed them to kind of stall that fight out and essentially come out even and stop the Baron.
Yeah, and we talked about Tart making your team invincible for a few seconds. It wasn't used there on the Sejuani, but in the middle of that fight, he got it on everyone else on his team. And that, you know, what is the opponent going to do? They just have to watch you deal damage. And it's so hard to deal with that it was a really nice Tark ult to keep this team alive just long enough.
Yeah, and those are huge gold swings. So that's one part about this game, too. When people get on a kill streak, they get a lot of kills. Like, for instance, Jeffrey was on a kill streak. Both Kill XL Justin was also on a kill streak. When they get shut down, when they get killed, a bonus gold and experience gets awarded to those players, them being Hidden Gamer 20 Jared and Cameron Ruling Ocean. It allows them to kind of swing back and potentially, like we said before, try to find that foothold.
So
in
if
this
anyone
game.
on the enemy team is getting too far ahead, you get rewarded for taking them down as a team. A little bonus gold to help you catch back up. A nice little mechanic there. And it looks like, again, we see everyone grouped around this Baron. And when we talked about the teleports, all 4 of them, 2 on each side, are up. Orianna might get caught out here. No. Very close in these fights, though. Both teams just staying grouped together.
It looks like Rockbridge is trying to do it again, positioning around the Baron, denying the vision, and it's kind of the ball again is back in Battle's court here. Are they going to be able to find the proper engage here, or is Rockbridge going to be able to take this objective? Because at least now in this situation, Battle has some of the tools and the positioning to be able to respond, at least not a full 2 steps behind. They understand exactly what's going on, and it's going to really be up to who makes the misstep. Who stepped out of position here.
Nice little chunk there down on the Trundle. Not going to do too much to him, but it helps a little bit. And again, when all 10 people are on one side of the map, we have to look at what's going on the other side. They're losing this tower just to the minions for free, but the fight's going to break out. Sejuani dashing forward, Swain zoning the entire team. Tarkle comes down, and Janna gets taken out by Ruling Ocean. And it looks like Akali is dealing a ton of damage in this fight. In the backline, zoning a lot of people. Swain 1v4ing, though, will finally get taken down by the Jinx. Oh, no, it misses.
Yeah,
and it's a 3v4 situation. Jinx having to flash out, but that Trundle Pillar slowing down Taric just long enough for him to get caught out. And that is a 1 for 3, and it should be the Baron over to Rockbridge. Again, that's the power of that Swain. When we look at that replay, he walks forward into 4 people without fear because his ultimate is a huge circle around them. It heals him and deals damage to everyone else, kind of like a vampire almost.
Yeah, kind of looks like a vampire.
Leeching off of his enemies, and so he's able to stay in the front long enough for his team to finish everyone else off. Let's take a look at that. Fight's gonna break out. Sejuani dashing forward. Yeah, you can see him there walking right in the 3 people, just zoning off Jinx entirely on the top side of the fight. Akali's dashing onto the back line. We can't see that, but she gets kited well enough. I think that John is able to keep them alive there. And eventually, so close on getting the kill on this Swain, but he sidesteps the Jinx rocket, and then the re-engage with this Trundle Pillar. Just so much slow applied there.
That's the craziest part about that situation there. He was just able to 1v3, absorb that pressure long enough for the rest of his team to take out the Akali, take out the Sejuani, and he's able to turn around. The entire team regroups on him, turn it around, and all of a sudden, battle's like, wait a second, I thought it was a 3v1, ends up being a 3v4 situation.
Yeah, and because of that, another Infernal Drake spawned, another Infernal Drake over to Rockbridge. They have control of most of the map now, 10,000 gold lead, and the Baron buff. So not only are they stronger in fights just from the dragons, but they have so much gold, and it looks like Battle are going to get caught out. The Orion ult goes down, a nice blast plant to get over, but they're still in a bad spot. Jhin ult opens up, slowing them all down. The turret's up, and it looks like they're just going to walk out almost for free. I thought that should have been some clean kills there, but maybe a lack of coordination. Rockbridge just gonna, seeing 5 people there, go to the bottom side of the map and take that turret that was weakened a little bit earlier and just start split pushing. The Trundle Pillar goes down again, slowing all of these battle players. Tarkle just in time to keep them alive. And Paulie down here dealing all the damage, but there's no one to protect him. He's all alone, and because of that, he can't deal enough damage safely. Everyone's getting rooted up and pulled back in. Swain pushing forward with the Trundle, just tearing Battle apart.
Battle doesn't have enough damage to break through.
Yeah, without Jinx, and like I said, Jinx was on the wrong side of that fight initially. He just recalled, and so they lose almost all their damage from that. And it looks like Rockbridge are finally going to break open the base here at 29 minutes.
Something we said before where we talked about Rilo, who built the Executioner's Calling very early, an item that kind of decreases healing. That's an item that Battle desperately needs.
Jhin rooting Sejuani and getting pulled in by the Swain. Huge pickoff, and now it's a 2v5 situation. A huge root on the Jinx, getting caught out. Paulie trying to deal damage and keep the enemy team off of his base, but that might be the game here. The Orianna Shockwave going down, but it's not enough damage to shred through these tanks on Rockbridge's side. The gold lead is too big right now, and the Nexus towers are just getting shredded. Yeah, this Swain, a huge pickup it looks like. Orianna just not able to cut through the front line. And Rockbridge are going to go ahead and close out this game with the Baron. Orianna, again, getting rooted. Swain is so good at keeping people in place and having his team finish them off. Gonna Zonius keep himself alive. He'll go down at the last second.
And Rockbridge retains their perfect record. And you gotta say, other than the play at in the Baron pit, which really wasn't a misplay by Rockbridge, but more of a very good executed play by Battle. This was a very, very clean play by Rockbridge. We're hearing the 4-0 chant coming out on the left side. It's very true. This team looks very, very good. We said before, it's almost like surgical procedure here where they're dismantling teams across the map. Doesn't look like anyone has an answer to their early game. And we see multiple crazy engages crazy invades by Jeffrey Galaxy Fox. And it's really what sets his teams up, giving them the advantage. And then they just rotate. It's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, there's 2 things that we kind of talk about in League. And there's micro, which is, you versus your opponent in lane, the 1v1. And then there's the macro, which is how we control, how you and your team coordinate across this entire map. And Rockbridge there just showing superior macro, really. Always being at the right place, getting the objective, getting the neutral objective, the Rift Herald or the Dragon, and then just going to the next one, not giving up any pressure. And that's how you close out games, sub 30 minutes.
Again, clean game, secured 8 towers, all 3 towers, 21-4. Well played to Rockbridge. And that concludes the first night, coming back to week 4 for the Ukatsu High School Esports League. I want to thank everyone again for coming out, all the parents, all the sponsors, all the teachers. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting your local high school esport athletes. This is the Ukatsu High School Esports League, brought to you by Columbia College, Armstrong Teasdale, Veterans United Home Loans, and Hawthorne Bank. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all the families. Again, we couldn't do this without you guys. And we'll see you guys on Friday when we come and watch Jefferson City versus Hickman High School.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. Don't forget as well, this Saturday is the Midwest Campus Clash, brought to you guys by Columbia College. It's a huge collegiate tournament highlighting Columbia College. Again, if you guys didn't know already, Columbia College being one of the local, I guess, colleges in Columbia, they are one of the best League of Legends teams in the entire nation, ranked 1 and multiple points throughout the collegiate season, and they're hosting their own tournament. And we'll also be highlighting the All-Star game for the Ukatsu High School League. So we'll see multiple members of them on stage at some point during that public match on Saturday. It is free to attend.
At 3 p.m. This Saturday, it'll be a North versus South battle. So a mix of Hickman and Battle High Schools versus Rockbridge and Jefferson City. Again, 3 p.m. on Saturday. It will be streamed. But, you know, in Columbia here, it's local at Columbia College. So anyone that can make it down should join. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there. Otherwise, though, we'll be back Friday. Great games tonight. Very excited to watch. I'm glad to see so much improvement from these players after spring break. And so, well, we'll see you Friday, guys. Thank you guys for coming out.